I got it.
Dude, if you're not on Telegram, you can't
that's what these CEOs say about us too. If you don't have at least $1 million,
I'm not on a
your
channel
opinion don't
that has
count.
information.
Which is
so
why
I
we get
think
to
it
write your
has
name in
no
the death note.
information. Do you realize how retarded you sound?
Yeah, I've been hearing that my whole life, but then I'm the smart person
then
and need
shut up
help.
more
I know.
often.
I know I'm retarded
then
until
shut up
you
and
need me to
listen
do
more
something.
often.
I understand.
If every time you open your mouth, people tell you you're retarded.
Yes,
maybe you
then they
should shut
beg me
your
to
mouth
do their
more.
work for them. I hear that all the time.
Right, then shut your mouth more.
What's
Maybe
up?
you should
Yeah,
do
shut my
more.
mouth more and do more work. I know. I heard
I
it.
didn't say do more work. I said shut your mouth more.
Yeah, you said do more work 30 minutes ago.
Here, DK, Hank, chill the fuck out. Thank you so much. Blessings, guys.
Don't get all upset like that.
Yo, DK, chill the fuck out, homie. DK, stop yelling at the top of your fucking lungs, dude. Right? Chill the fuck out. Honestly, that shit's giving me a fucking headache, dude. But yeah. Yeah, I'm here. Hold on. Who, man, is this Smith again? This is some wild shit. Oh no, this is the freak.
That's hilarious.
I honestly, all I was saying was like I have a lot more information there than.
Right. I got it. Yeah, you got the info. Yeah, definitely. Blessings. But you can't just keep yelling like that. You know what I mean? If you got the info, just bring the info, man. You know what I mean? But yeah, blessings.
You've
Go
got
ahead.
to get on Telegram to get it. That's the problem. I can only
For
bring
sure. I got you. Yeah, just send me the links on the Discord. Blessings, right? But yeah, hit this up.
Yeah, all right, sweet.
I want to piggyback off of Jack talking about Luigi there and just play this clip real quick.
Okay. I think it's no volume there.
Yeah, I'm not hearing anything.
Yeah, we don't hear it. Yeah.
I like his show though, in general. No volume, please. I need more volume.
And more.
Give me the link.
And more cowbell if you have it. More cowbell.
Lols.
I sent the link in the back. So if you want to pull it up.
I'm adding it to the front.
Basically, he goes through the Twitter feed of this guy, and there's a bunch of weird kind of posts on his Twitter feed, especially from women. And the whole thing, from what Jet says and from this Twitter feed, it's like the whole thing is got to be a joke. I mean, the whole thing is got to be a complete CIA operation, botched, gone bad, double crossing, gay sex, something in Congress is weird, fuckery, basically.
Yeah, I scoured it as soon as it got leaked, and it just look at it for 10 minutes. It doesn't make any sense. The Twitter is bizarre, and he had retweets by someone named Jennifer Epstein, and it was she seemed to be implying that she knew about what's going on, and it's very bizarre. Let's just put it that way.
Gay ops are high. Well, looks like TML crashed again.
Oh, I thought it was time to pray.
What do you want to pray for?
Maybe for you it is.
Better fact checking. I'm gonna pray for better fact checking.
Just having temporary technical difficulties. The show should resume momentarily.
United Healthcare, or whatever the company's name was, women are already seeking out his dating app. Now, remember, he literally just got arrested for ending somebody Granted, you can say, I'm glad he, and glad he did it. I don't like what he did it, whatever. But here comes the posts already. This, they say, he was found. This is what he said. They shared his picture, and this is what women are sharing. No lube, no protection, all night, all day, missionary, cowboy, reverse cowboy, doggy, backwards, sideways, on the bed, on the couch, bent over the kitchen counter, by the fireplace, against the wall, in the shower, on the floor, in the basement, against the window. All the places, all the things with this guy. Why? Because he's a picture and he's a killer. But that's not the only one. I could go on. He's hot and an activist, 3,000 likes. And on. Quick, what prison's he going to? I need to start scheduling conjugal visits. And on, I would take 3 back shots any day from Luigi. And on, reply after reply after reply after reply. And men say we're not dating anymore.
You can can it now.
Don't trust women anymore. When men say I don't find women attractive anymore, when men say all these things to society, or I don't trust marriage, or I don't trust divorce, when men say all these things, society thinks men are shallow. When I look at this picture, and I know who this is, because if you showed me this picture and say, would you find this woman attractive? My answer would be yes. Yeah, I find her.
You can can it now if you want.
Unattractive.
Probably AI pick anyway.
When you say this is Lily Phillips, and I know what Lily Phillips did, would you say this woman is attractive? No.
You don't think so?
This woman's gross. I wouldn't touch her with a 100-foot pole.
So wasted.
I wouldn't want to breathe the same diseased air she breathes. I would never trust her around children. I would never introduce her to my family. I would never put her in my circle of friends. And when women hear this, they say men are pigs, that men we're just sad, lonely, butthurt inside.
Communist pig.
But the irony is, men say, I don't like women like this because we have standards, because we hold the people that are in our lives and the people we want to associate with to a higher standard. The men that you call pigs, the men that you call dogs, ironically, are the ones that actually still have standards. The ones that have certain expectations out of the people in their lives. The ones that won't crawl into the gutter. So for everybody out there that gets us all twisted and come and either hate on men like us or hate channels like mine or whatever, all we're doing is holding women accountable and holding them to a higher standard than they hold themselves. And as they yell and rant.
This is wild. This dude's called Better Bachelor, and his channel, and his name on this channel is Joker. I mean, like, what is going on?
Dude,
yeah, it's another red pillar,
and he looks like that. Like, this dude is supposed to be a Better Bachelor. What the? And this dude looks like
he's a red pillar, but
Nosferatu. I mean, like, this is crazy.
Yeah,
damn,
it's crazy because of the social media, which I wanted to point out. No sane woman is actually going to be posting anything like that onto some random Italian weirdos friggin' on a bicycle with a plastic gun. Twitter feed. It's just not happening. Like,
I know, bro. I had to go take a break and stuff over here in the bar and shit.
The presupposition that you think that women are sane, like,
exactly. Well, I was going with that.
She's doing that. She's got an only clams fat.
I mean, nothing against them, but I mean, I think we're cooked, man.
They're just misunderstood.
Well, it was really weird. What's interesting is I read that post by Richard Spencer, but then like I opened Twitter for like 10 minutes, and like all these posts are being passed around about Luigi being like an incel, and like he was a pro incel like hero, and like violence is good because we're all like I mean, this is what they're saying. They're saying like we're all like not gonna get laid, so just destroy everything. And like,
I think what they're all saying is nobody gives a shit because
you realize it's got to the point where they're putting wanted posters of health officials around, I think it's New York City now.
Cost of health insurance is too high.
And I know, one of them is him, and it's got a big red cross across his face, and it's still got all the other ones there.
I mean, it's funny as fuck.
This is starting to get kind of crazy, people.
Cecil, your mic's fucked, like right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit like it sounds like you're underwater, but yeah.
It must be the feedback or something.
Yeah, some weird shit, but yeah.
It gets like that when other people's audios overpower his
or
audio.
like if one of the people on panel is like near me or something like that.
Yeah, but see, right now, like nobody else is talking and it's still doing that. So it's just like
it is, but not as much.
Underwater effect. I mean, no.
It's funny how everybody is like, my health insurance bill is too high anyway. Fuck it, most the guy.
I just think that when you see cross-reference, crossfire propaganda, quantified by every side, you know that there's some weird effery going on with the communists or the CIA or both.
So that
the whole thing is fishy to me. Like I'm just not buying most of this, garbage that they're putting out.
Yeah. I mean, definitely suspect stuff.
You know what I'm saying?
Wait, what was that, Cecil? You gotta say that again.
But bro, I had to go drink a bunch of liquor before work and shit.
Yeah, your shit is. Yeah, you definitely sound like you're like in an aquarium.
I know, I'm slurring my speech hard.
I can't hear you at all, Holmes. But yeah, I'm gonna move on here with some of this reading, and I'm gonna be looking at this for another hour, and then we'll play some of these recordings that we have, especially interesting recording we made with Annapurna, looking at different ideas. Definitely some rare topics there. Some of the more topics that are concerning the family and women's health, and some of those ideas. So, I mean, especially Annapurna is an expert on some of those things. But yeah, the threatening aspects of technology often are balanced by temptingly attractive features, he says, right? And once people have given into the temptation of accepting an attractive but dangerous technological innovation, there's no turning back. Short of a breakdown of technological civilization, biotechnology can increase agricultural production and provide new medicines. In the future, it will probably help to eliminate genetic disease and allow parents to give their children desired traits. As computers grow faster and more sophisticated, they give people more and more powers, and they would not otherwise have. The latest electronic entertainment media give people new and exciting kicks. Your claim that people will correct problems when these make them sufficiently uncomfortable, even if it were true, would have no clear application to such cases. Technological innovations make people comfortable in some ways and uncomfortable in other ways. And while the comforts are obvious and direct, the discomforts often are indirect and not obvious. It might be difficult or impossible even to recognize and prove the connection between technology and discomfort. I mean, yeah, and people directly experience the fun that they get from computers and electronic entertainment media, and it is by no means obvious that exposure of children to computers and electronic media may cause attention deficit disorder. Some research suggests such an effect, and it remains open question whether the effect is real. Now, it's obvious that a lot of this stuff got applied to the kids, right? For example, I was fairly addicted to Sega Genesis when I was a kid, the resulting effect was that I was put on Ritalin, right? And
Oh
of course,
snap!
yeah, and of course that Ritalin was very, very taxing on a lot of ways that my brain functioned. I mean, as an early child, I very quickly began rejecting Ritalin because even though it was basically I was essentially forced to take this stuff. You remember? But the fact is that I didn't know early on at the time that it was a bad thing, so I continued to take it for a while, right? But yeah, I mean, I could not think of a more uncomfortable feeling than when I was a kid and I was taking Ritalin. Definitely did not feel comfortable, right? And yeah, and still, it was assigned as a result of the use of some of these entertainment
Uh,
technologies.
I
So
think it's pretty clear that effect is actually fake and gay because first of all, attention deficit source is a made up thing made up by a little cabal.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, I agree. I think the kids that are usually given that type of disorder are usually smarter than the other kids,
yes,
and it's because they could focus their attention very narrowly, for very long periods of time, or they have very refined forms of attention.
yes,
They have ability to switch attention between different things. Also, which is another form of attention, right? That they possess. So yeah, they are brilliant in other ways, but yeah, this
yes,
yeah,
and also it's usually just to cover up for this just the courses being boring and or useless. So it's just an excuse to cover up for their big payday scheme.
yeah, yeah, and I mean,
You
you
dodge
know,
your
um,
bullets and you get off of that Ritalin. It's good.
yeah, I mean, people complain that I have speech impediments or I repeat certain words on here, but the truth is I never had these problems before I started taking Ritalin. I mean, so and lots of other problems. Like I have trouble sleeping and eating. I mean, I often forget to do those things, to be honest. For
When
Hey,
did
long
I
you
got
periods.
stop
something.
taking it? Hey, TML, how long ago did you stop taking it?
I mean, when I was a kid, they gave it to me when I was a kid. A lot of
Shit.
people got it when they were kids. But
Yeah,
yeah, what's that unseen?
to be honest, I got
Yeah,
my stepson off it completely,
yeah,
and
yeah, that's good.
this is really messed up. The school said he wasn't allowed at school unless he was on it,
Yeah,
so we kept getting the prescriptions, and he would come home like a zombie, and I'd be like,
yep,
dude, if it's doing this to you every day, how about we just try not doing it and see how you go? But I took him off the Ritalin completely, like seriously, no consultation with the doctor, kept buying the prescription, so the school thought we were still giving it to him.
yeah.
And yeah, 2 weeks later, there's like, we've noticed such an improvement in him.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I would never give
And I'm
that stuff to
like,
my
you
kids. Yeah,
fucking
if
suck.
you
I
ask
took him
me
off
about
that
it,
shit weeks ago.
yeah, if you ask me about it, I would definitely not be. I would definitely disrecommend that type of stuff. But yeah, unseen warfare. What were you trying to say?
Okay, so I got something for this kind of subject right here. Modern man, he is living in freedom. He thinks he's living in freedom. He is in chains, thinking he is progressing. He is regressing, thinking he is near to his vision. He is blinded, thinking he is an inclusive. He is exclusionary. He is dead, yet insane enough to think he lives truly, fittingly, wisely, preferring reflections on screens to reflections on truth. He calls on the fashionable and unthinking people to help him engineer an even greater age of delusion and disorientation. As Father Seraphim says, retreats into his mind away from reality, into the prison of his own illusions. He promises a new man, a civilization, a new actualities, visible only on panes of glass illumined by lithium ion batteries. I don't know. Just reading this thing here.
Yeah, that first part. Today man is you know everywhere thinks he's free, but he's actually in chains.
Hmm.
That's actually a line from Jean-Jacques Rousseau, the famous critic of Enlightenment thought, right? So, what I mean? A lot of these anti-tech, anti-science thoughts, definitely he was a big time warner against modernism, right? So, yeah, the fact is that, yeah, this idea that, freedom could come, that too much, an excess of freedom leads to an excess of slavery, as we read in Plato, right? Definitely everyone, all the philosophers knew about this, right? So yeah, it's interesting.
That kind of sounds like Fight Club.
100%. It's the line that, the things you own end up owning you. You know what I mean? Those who are bound by desire see only the outward container, as it says in the Tao Te Ching. All right, these are all lines that are critical of desire, possession, innovation, right? And a lot of religious treatises talk about the dangers of innovation, the dangers of knowledge and innovation. Right?
Maybe we should pray for like Jack Talcott to be the man to like bring them all together. If he could do it with that crowd over at his channel, I don't
Lols.
know.
Well, we had him in here earlier,
Oh
in
yeah.
terms of looking at some of these ideas. So, yeah, you'd be interested to know that he's 50-50 on a lot of this stuff in terms of science and technology. He believes that they could be used to improve a lot of the um you know projects, right? So we have to clarify what level of technology we think is satisfactory and what technology itself is. So he was very interested in the discussions about defining what technology and technique themselves are, right? So I mean, in terms of figuring out, you know what's going on here. I mean, definitely
That reminds me
collaboration.
of a question I have for you. Did you ever? I posted a long time ago the Mosquito Coast. It's a movie like with Harrison Ford, and he's out in the jungle because he's trying to do the Ted Kaczynski thing. Did you ever see that? I posted the link to it in the Discord on your server somewhere.
What is it
But it's
called
an
again?
interesting movie. I mean, the problem is, he went with the minimum of technology that you could have. Basically, he had an ice machine and a handgun. So the problem is he got wiped out by a big storm of nature, somehow a disaster of nature, like 3 out of 3 times. And by the time his kids were old enough to realize what the heck was going on, they left. So you either have, you know, there's got to be a balance somewhere because I'm not going to live like Mosquito Coast either. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. But there's people say, well, it's bad for technology, so we should live like Mosquito Coast. You can live it. You can just move there. You can move. There's plenty of places where they have no resources, no, just barely have a society, no water, any water, no food. There's plenty. Those places exist. You can just move there. It's just no one wants to because it's a shithole.
This is where TML comes in and tells us the answer because he's our cult leader.
Well, I don't think the fact is that people do live there and they're sometimes healthier. All right, so
Yes, if they're alive, they're sometimes healthier.
yeah, there's people living in first world countries and they're homeless.
Yeah, but I would rather be homeless in a first world country than a third world country.
Always making
Yes, but
goofy
there's
comments there.
wait, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Reddington.
Yeah, the freak always, you know, adding in some little goofy comment. Oh, TML's our cult leader. It's like, huh?
But it's just shows, so technically, I guess in some sense he is, but I'm not a good cold joiner. I'm just good at bouncing people who
In
are
what
annoying.
sense is he your cult leader, bro? He's not
But
my
it's
cult
his
leader.
show,
I,
so
he's
I'm a fan of his
I
show.
see him as a friend.
Yeah,
See you as a friend, Machine.
Yeah,
Probably
yeah, the
in
fact
jest.
is that yeah, the fact is that you know, DeFreak is being hyperbolic because of his other online experiences, and the fact is in terms of Hank, you know, Hank is being contentious, which is in his nature, right? But the fact is that
Yeah, he's kind
I
of
mean,
contrarian. I've noticed
yeah,
that.
yeah, of course, it's just natural thing. Same thing with Smith. I mean, right? Smith is full of bitchy energy, right? And that's just because of his, he's on the sauce, right? He can't master his high, right? That's not but that's regular, right? So the fact is that if you've seen Smith before, you know that that's just Smith being Smith, right? But
That's SOP for him.
yeah, exactly.
what's
But
my excuse then? I'm not even drunk. I
well,
didn't even.
no. You have a sort of a different mo, and your mo is that you like to challenge the ideas. Now, in terms of third world countries, right? Because we want to be consistent here, right? You know, you know, per capita, right? Conditions. You could live very well in a third world country. You could live very poorly in a first world country, right? So countries being quote unquote, shitholes doesn't really, measure up to the quality of life or the education of the people there or any of those factors. So the quality of life, you know how can we point to factors that are significantly improved by technological innovation? That would be the key things that we're looking for here, right?
I wouldn't want to give up air conditioning first and foremost. You
That's
know,
not Yeah, but it's not about your feelings. It's about the qualitative lifestyle, right? That's necessary to procure things like air conditioning, right? And whether people who are living with air conditioning are qualitatively healthier, safer, you know, um, you know, um, smarter, what I mean, or any of those things, right?
Have
yeah,
low
it's
tech
interesting.
high life.
I wonder what God would say.
Let me phrase it this way: Illuminati was supposed to go ruthless, but he's doing anything he can to stay indoors. So
Well,
even he can't go with what he feels because the alternative is just better.
I agree with
um,
actually. I agree with Hank because look at Ted Kaczynski. He was out in the no world zone or country, not even third world, and he went and he started bombing people. So he got bored or something. Wasn't good for him.
yeah,
Exactly.
I think that's a
Sheesh.
sort of a stupid comparison because you just contradicted yourself because you kind of said that well, Lumitami's doing anything he can to not be under a roof, which isn't quite clear,
No, he's
right?
not doing anything he can to not be ruthless, even though he wants to do it for Jesus. So he has intention to do something with Jesus, and he thinks it's better just to stay inside.
Under what metric are you assuming that that's the case? Because I have no
Because
idea.
every time he's been on, he's been inside. Because
So
he's
so this is because your summation is because of Lumitami's portrayal of how he wants to be online, right? That it's a statement about how people would live, and
yeah, he's not
And
living up to his words.
and then and
and
then and then
and he
He's not
got
living
secondly,
his
Jesus involved.
values. He's
yeah,
not living his values. Period.
Kaczynski was part of the civilization, right? He had all the modern amenities, and he moved out to the woods. So wouldn't that be the opposite?
Well, the bombs aren't part of nature, I guess, in that sense. So
Bombs have nothing to do with the fact that he moved out to the woods. Many other people have moved out to the woods, and they never bombed people. So what does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, but we're not reading their works.
Wait a minute.
No,
Why
what?
is Kami
I
a
think you're jumping.
criterion for anything?
Yeah, exactly. I think you're conflating many different things together: ideas, concepts, themes, events. Right?
Yeah, and now also retort by saying, "So are you."
No, I'm not though.
Okay,
I'm
we
just
will
asking
agree to
questions about
disagree.
what you're saying.
Well, agree to disagree then.
Well, does everybody who moved out to the woods have to bomb people? Let's go to that. Or does anybody
No, you
No,
don't.
but
does everybody who's chosen that way of life lead to that? Does it
No,
lead to that? So
no.
what are you
okay,
talking
but wait,
about?
wait.
How is that a
You
We're
can
not
criterion?
reading
also
that. We're not
dictate.
reading their works, though.
Yeah,
You
but
cannot. You
it's not
can't
about
dictate that's
reading
how we have
people's
to live.
works. We're not talking about reading
the-
anyone's works. We're not talking
the
about reading anyone's works. You see, you're
String of
conflating.
non sequiturs here? Or
Yeah, it's like a string of non sequiturs. Definitely.
I'm
But
just saying
that's
I wouldn't want that for me.
yeah, I agree with the freak. I don't want that for me.
Yeah, but
I'm
who
not
cares how
sold.
you feel? Who cares how you feel?
Oh, I
Okay,
do.
well, let's
But
move
other
on
people
then.
don't. But I do.
I do
Right,
think
Well,
this
right.
is
You care,
interesting.
you say
right,
who cares
right.
how
I
you
care how I
feel,
feel.
but
Yes, I care about my own feelings. Is
Yes,
that well?
yes. But why should anybody else care about it?
Because if you
look at
don't,
what
and I
Ted's
will won't
feelings
do
were.
anything you want me to
Please,
do.
guys, don't talk at the same time.
Sorry.
DeFreak or Hank, answer the question.
Yes, because if you don't, I will not do what you want me to do.
Who cares about you listening to anything I have to say?
I do. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
Well, we're just reading Dr. K, but if you can't connect, any of the ideas that you're talking about with the text we're reading, right, in terms of, why you think violence against the system is important, or why you think it's deplorable, or why you think that technology improves our conditions, or if you think it's just a feeling, then just, it's just your feeling.
Well, you
Okay,
say
you say
feelings are
that,
bad.
but
I disagree with you. Feelings,
yeah.
you should trust your feelings.
Also, you say that, but Ted had his feelings,
What? But
right?
you just said you care about what I think.
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so then you should process that your feelings don't matter, right? In the equation of, the greater scheme of ideas.
Oh, if my feelings don't matter in the greater scheme of ideas, why do I feel anything at all?
Cult lulls.
Well, truth is a feeling, right, Hank?
Affirmative.
I wouldn't agree with that.
So, Mohammed, let me ask you this: you think that you would want to go into a just a log cabin with no stove or oven, or like total Ted Kaczynski? You think that's the way? I'm thinking you're not that far into it.
I don't think anyone is proposing that, including Dr. K. If you're paying attention, he just said that was his personal preference. But
Yeah, okay.
what he's proposing for society at large, in terms of revolutionary change, that's a little bit of a different proposal here. So I'd like to
Yeah,
stay on. The greater proposal, right, is about you know the collapse of society, A, B, the danger of technological innovation, and C, the nature of change within society, reform being impossible, collapse being inevitable, revolution being plausible. All right. Do you have any disagreements or comments about those statements, or about why that would be self-limiting, or whether that would be dangerous proposition, right? Those are all critical to the discussion. But people's feelings about whether society is going to collapse or not, or whether they like technology or not, I'm sorry, that doesn't factor into the greater scheme of things, right? Of the way things are headed, large societal trends, right? Your feelings and your emotions don't really factor in there, right? Sorry to say, right? Sorry to break it to you.
well, it seems like there's going to have to be some sort of an agreement then beyond or with everybody.
No, there
Because
doesn't have to be agreement. Societies have, collapsed. They've risen up. Violent revolutions have taken place. New orders have been created. Nobody's asked for permission. Nobody asked for permission when Genghis Khan came over and dragged the people out from the village and put and burn the bodies, and then put melting human fat on the catapult, and then burning human fat rained over the city. Nobody asked for anybody's fucking permission.
Right, but the Genghis Khan faction might be the ones that don't want to go all the way back to the log cabin.
It doesn't matter what they want to do.
Well, why couldn't
Like,
you
what
have
part of
your
that don't you get?
developments and your developments in the desert region where you can't really affect the environment as much as you can where the trees grow, and let it like recover and have air conditioning, and good housing.
Why can't Genghis Khan have air conditioning? Is that the question? Because
Yeah,
they
why
burned down
wouldn't
my
you want
shitty
air
walk.
conditioning and a good housing market?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the Golden Hordes were focused on the housing market. I mean, they were living in tents, right? But yeah, let's
Cool.
go here. I mean, and I'm sorry, but you know, types of ideas about instrumentality or about you know our preferences, right? I mean, like Hank said earlier, he doesn't prefer to use a car to go to work and all of that type of stuff. This is just the conveniences that we have from the system. We have to use them. He didn't say it was an option whether he uses it or not. Right? It's that yeah, we need a car to live in the society today, right? So the fact is that is it a convenience or is it being imposed on you, right? And if it's an option to live anywhere else, well, right, if it's so comfortable to live anywhere else, right, why doesn't everybody choose it? Well, it's so great to live in the first world, and nobody leaves that way of life. And the fact is that that way of life is spreading, right? So there's technological monism, there's interconnectedness in the system, and that way of life is being imposed on others. Right? Conveniences start out as conveniences, and they no longer are conveniences, right? Okay, they become necessities for modern life, right? And that's the fact, is that there's more and more things necessary for life in a modern society, right?
Yeah, there's got to be some sort of organization. And like, I don't think you're not talking about you would want to be like Ted style with just like basic like village tribe.
The way Ted Kaczynski lived, or his actions, have nothing to do with the proposal against technological society, right? Or any of the ideas about the dangers of technological innovation, as they've been pointed out by many other writers, as I've talked about earlier, right? So his personal views and actions, don't really have that much bearing. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
so
Yeah, and we've discussed many areas where I think his ideas might be flawed as well, right? So
yeah,
yeah, so
how about
it's obvious
it
that
comes
there's
down
different
to
thinkers. There's Rousseau, there's Ellul, right? There's Dr. Kaczynski, just to name three, right? All three of these writers had different views on civilization, but they had the same views on technological innovation and progress, right? So it's important to note that, you know, based on their views about technological growth and scientific innovation and its effects on cultural refinement, right? Um, we're looking at over 400 years of these critiques, right? So again, let's not get lost in the weeds about what's the actual focus, right, of these problems. A lot of these thoughts are no different than what Lao Tzu said in the beginning portion of these things. So right, we don't have to speculate on what type of life Lao Tzu led, or what type of life Rousseau led. These are things that people are trying to get you to distract you from the problem. right? The real problems at hand,
Yeah.
right? Your personal
Yeah, you're
feelings
right.
are another example. And these are things that people are trying to get to distract you from the main issues at hand. And right? It's not about what Dr. K did or what Rousseau did or whether Alul's a Christian or whether Dr. K is a Christian or anything like that. You know, what I mean? How much technology is necessary to live a good life? You know, what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
that's all you need to worry about, at the end of the day, because our job is to, live a good life. I mean, and the fact is that was possible just as much without technology as it is with technology. And whether we're in a technological world or a primitive world, our job is to speak the truth, okay? Act in righteousness and honor, okay, with our fellow men. And it doesn't matter what age we're in. If the machine is the one that's causing people to lie, then we have to destroy the machine, right? Because that's the cost of living in today's system and behaving in order with righteousness and honor, right? Okay, it
Yes,
doesn't matter. Okay, so the truth is the truth, right? And the truth will find its way no matter what. Good will win out over evil. Okay, so it doesn't matter. I mean,
I
that's
have
some
a
good stuff,
question.
man.
What would happen if there was no correlation between the amount of technology and how many people would live good lives? What if there was no correlation?
Also, you mentioned nuclear earlier. I'm wondering what your thoughts on overall, like yay or nay on that.
well, to the first, question, I think the factor has to be in whether we can control technological growth and innovation, right? And how much moral responsibility we have during that, right? So obviously that has to be taken into account. So without answering that question, we cannot answer the question that you posed, right? And DeFreak, what were you saying?
You were talking about earlier nuclear power and stuff earlier. Essentially all we're doing is boiling effing water with it. Like cavemen used to boil water and stuff. So, are you for or against nuclear outright, or however it's being used now, or what you think for the future?
I'm
Like,
against it, DeFreak. I'm against it. Yeah, yeah. But
me
anyways,
too.
yeah. So yeah. So yeah. So you have to be more specific. You know what I mean? You know, in terms of what you oppose about the technological system, because you can't just say, oh, I love living in an air conditioned room and I wouldn't want to give it up. But obviously, the nuclear power that you don't support is supporting the fact that you live in an air conditioned room. So all
Got
of these
me.
things are connected.
Got me.
No, it's not that I got you. It's just that you have to zoom out on the issue and actually look at the problem real time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that and that and that
that's good
requires
stuff, man.
and that requires looking at all the factors that are at play. And if you don't do that, then you're not being critical, right? Because and obviously, if we're not being critical, lots of things are gonna go beyond, are gonna fall outside of our purview of our attention, right?
I
And
think
we
we've
don't.
become mutations. I think we're so far away from our humanity, in a lot of ways, because there's this. We've stripped God out of the place and put ourselves there, or put the tech there, put it, whatever that isn't something real. It's like just chasing phantoms.
I don't know because we can't comprehend God in all of their glory, so I don't
Well, that
understand.
wasn't really my point. It wasn't about comprehending God. It's like we're not even comprehending ourselves, what it means to be human. In a, I'm not saying it's
Maybe
for
being human
everybody,
has
but
no meaning.
I'm saying it's like you're seeing it. And I think that's a sign where you have these people like this Luigi guy or whatever. It's a growing cult of love. It's an anti-social reaction to normal, human interactions. It's just not there. It's behind a screen. So
What
reminds
if
me
being
of
human
something.
has no meaning? Have you considered that?
I think that it absolutely has meaning, but we have gotten to a point where we just say it's meaningless. So there's the lie. That's the lie of the machine, is that nothing has meaning.
I think meaning
That
is
everything
subjective.
is relative, that everything is subjective, that there is no truth, and that there's always an argument, you know?
Yeah, because people go around saying, "I got the
Where's the
truth. I got the
compassion?
truth."
Where's the
Then they make
virtue?
claims
Where?
that contradict what we can test, which is why I don't take them
But
seriously
it's
anymore.
not in logic and reason all the time. It's not about a test. It's not about the science. It's not
Yes,
about,
it's about doing what you tell us to do. Of course,
you
it's
know,
about
and
being obedient. I know. I understand.
well, when you say obedient, what do you mean by that? Like, I'm trying to get you to do something. Like, what do you
Of
mean?
course. Otherwise, there's no good reason for communication at all. We're all trying to get each other to do something.
Okay.
That could be sales, but going
I'm not
back
trying
to
to
what
sell you
DK said
anything. I'm
earlier
just telling you.
about there could be a narrative of instigation, or like when that guy on the Twitter feed was getting all that attention from women, that could like motivate, or what would you say? There's a word for it they have.
Copycats. It can
Yeah,
get
like it can
copycats because they
inspire
want the
someone
women.
to. Yeah. So that's another thing that makes me think it's just so
I think it's birth
communist
pains.
out there in the media land. It sucks.
I think it's birth pains to the end of time. That's what I think. Why you guys get quiet? What?
I'm sorry, we're all autistic. I apologize.
Yeah, sorry, and I'm eating. I should mute myself.
Do you understand what I'm saying about that, though? I think as birth pains move forward, they're going to get more and more intense as time goes on. But these are just like the starting phases of it. And I mean, sure, it's happened throughout generations, but it's just like we're heading towards a progress. We don't know where we're going and where it's going to end up. Yeah,
That's why we can't waste this. We can't waste this opportunity with Jack Talcott and Donald Trump. We get that temple built, man, and we can put a stamp on this thing. That's all I'm saying.
What temple, man? What are you talking about?
Temple in Jerusalem.
Oh, so you want it? You want it there? You gonna set up God in there, man?
Of course he does.
Put some pressure
It's
on
the
him.
reign of Antichrist, dude.
Right.
What are you talking about?
They're going to build.
You got 3 to 9 years. As soon as that sucker's up, and you can start counting as soon as that sucker's up.
They're going to build a temple in Ukraine. Ukraine is the new Jerusalem.
Be
I
accelerationist.
didn't mean for that to happen.
Zoom, Reddington.
Zoom.
Yeah, I think DeFreak has some interesting views on Messianic Judaism and all that type of stuff. Probably closer to Benjamin and some of what he was saying. It was interesting when we had both of them on the panel one day. And
oh, you're a Messianic Jew?
Yeah, we had a Messianic Jewish debate on the panel with the guy who lives in Israel. So it was interesting one day. And DeFreak was on the panel.
I haven't seen him in a long time.
Yeah, what's Benjamin up to anyway?
Yeah, I got to reach out to him at some point. But yeah,
I hope he didn't get too offended by the shenanigans that
I
go
don't
on
think
here.
so. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah,
He seems like he was level-headed.
Yeah, he could take it. I mean, he runs the panel every Thursday. He could take it. He could dish out. He could take it. He could do everything.
Right. You guys could show up there and talk to him every Thursday. Usually he's there every day.
Is he a
on
Kabbalist?
Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah, I used to study the Kabbalah under a guy for about 2 years. Yeah, Jewish guy, 32nd degree Mason. Yeah.
Are the Jews the Masons or are they Catholics? There's so much like misinformation out there. Like I don't even know who's who.
there's different hierarchies that are kind of
Syrian Jews and the Ashkenazi
Weird
who
shit.
created everything.
Yeah, the Catholic like whole thing where they're part of the
Jesuits.
Freemasons. Yeah, yes, the Jesuits and the Knights of Malta. So
Yeah,
that's the
right.
faction, right? So it's a specific faction, and but yeah, the entire thing is much more broader than the Catholics, right? It goes back to the Kabbalah, right? And yeah, so this whole thing about the Jesuit stuff is kind of trying to cover up where Freemasonry actually came from. I mean,
Well, what they would say is that it's like it came from second century Judaism with Isaac. What's his name? Kadira or something like that. Is that the guy's name? I'm trying to remember.
So Orthodox probably doesn't have a little sect in their hood in the Masonry, right?
Yeah, World Orthodoxy. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
yeah,
they're Masons,
we were
dude,
looking
straight
at
up.
it. Yeah, actually,
No
let
joke.
me play this clip here
Oh, you
because
about to play that? That's crazy.
yeah, this clip is wild, man. I mean, and I might bring this back later too because yeah, this clip is wild. I feel like we're gonna be using this clip. I mean,
Yeah, it's just
because
I'm not even going to say anything. It speaks for itself, dude. It's unbelievable.
yeah, this thing is so yeah, let's get into that
Imagine being
because
Jay Dyer, dude, and like that's your church. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like, bro, what? And like,
Sad trombone.
yeah, we'll take a little
homie,
detour
like,
here with Rant's song and this video here. So yeah, and then we'll come back with Dr. K. But yeah, crazy shit here, blessing. So hopefully my StreamYard doesn't break down here. But yeah, every time I try to share a video,
Yep.
it's like
Eastern Orthodoxy is a major branch of Christianity widely practiced in Eastern Europe and Western Asia. It is the dominant religion of these countries, with a strong influence extending from the Moscow Patriarchate. But currently, the global heart of this religion looks like this.
Христос с нами, братья! Церковь молится за вас. Молится за победу.
blessing tanks,
У
dude.
врага есть обязанность.
Воинская смерть лучше всех смертей.
Будемте расходиться по домам для келейной молитвы о победе над темной ордой фашистской.
And it's all because of this man. Patriarch Kirill of Moscow is the head of the Russian Orthodox Church, a multi-billionaire with a KGB past and near absolute power in Russia. He is both the face of the Russian Orthodoxy and the spiritual leader of the current invasion of Ukraine.
Именно духовенство русской церкви создало Z-идеологию. Это не просто телепузики, это не жертва этой пропаганды нынешней. Они ее активные создатели.
Если кто-то, движимый чувством долга, необходимостью исполнить свою присягу и идет исполнять то, что его долг ему велит, и если в исполнении этого долга человек погибает, то он, несомненно, совершает деяние, равносильное жертве, что эта жертва смывает все грехи, которые человек совершил.
But how did he become a spiritual guide to millions and make war a new pillar of the Orthodox Church in Russia?
Here's how the average man's life would change if he used pi for 5 days straight.
Fuck pie. I'm not using that. I won't endorse.
Shut your pie hole.
Yeah, what type of service is this called?
It's an ad block extension that won't actually block your ads. Use uBlock Origin instead.
Yep.
Okay. So hopefully that doesn't happen too many times here. Let me see this page here.
For a video that's like 9 minutes, that's crazy.
rule, religious groups faced heavy repression. Between 1937 and 1941, nearly 200,000 Orthodox clergy members were arrested. The majority were executed. Kirill's grandfather was one of them. He
This is the
endured
church on
numerous
the
persecutions and
Vatican.
imprisonment in the Solovki special camp. Kirill, on the other hand, sought mentorship from Metropolitan Nikodem, widely considered a pro-Soviet functionary. This allowed Kirill to quickly rise through the clerical ranks, and by the age of 25, he had already received the high title of Archimandrite. This was also the time when Kirill, along with many other church officials, was recruited by the KGB. Under their code name Mikhailov, he represented the church in Switzerland, meanwhile befriending locals and gathering intelligence for Soviet intelligence. But then, another opportunity came along.
Well, they tell people the Soviet Union ended, you know? But that's not the case. Like, the same old people took over behind the scenes. Like, KGB survived all that.
After the fall of the Iron Curtain, Kirill became the head of the Department for External Church Relations.
В начале 92-го года, вот как мне люди из администрации говорили, вот Кирилл носился с ней по, так сказать, 16-му корпусу, что вот у вас Советский Союз развалился, а у нас Московский патриархат стоит. Ну и подтекст такой, что если вы хотите сохранить свои позиции, там, прежде всего, в Украине и в Белоруссии, то вот, так сказать, помогайте нам, а мы поможем вам.
In the 90s, he was involved in important untaxed tobacco and wine under the guise of humanitarian aid, and then selling it in local shops at standard retail prices. The church also took part in the oil trade, managing to export $2 billion worth of it and evading any custom taxes. By 2006, Kirill was estimated to have amassed roughly $4 billion. In 2009, Kirill was elected as the new Patriarch of Moscow and Al Rus, the leader of the Russian Orthodox Church, which at the time also governed numerous Eastern Orthodox Church jurisdictions across the globe. Kirill exerted tight control over church affairs and began deepening the relationship with the Kremlin. This was made easier when in 2012, another former KGB agent, Vladimir Putin, returned to power. The two were often seen together, making the church an increasingly more significant force in Russian society. Between 2012 and 2015, the Russian Orthodox Church received over $150 million in government funding, not including the donations from its parishes and sponsors. But apart from serving the church, this money has been serving another purpose: maintaining Kirill's opulent lifestyle.
Yeah, by the way, you know, this church owns a lot of land in Israel as well. So that's also.
So there's there's a story about that. So
isn't it
the
funny
Russian
how
Church abroad.
every church steals?
Okay,
Kind
so
of weird that every religious group steals everyone's money, and the people at the top live opulent lifestyles.
Yeah, definitely. But let Unseen come in on this because he definitely knows a lot on this subject, and
okay,
he brought this clip forward. So yeah, blessings.
So the Russian Orthodox Church outside of Russia, which is Rokor, right? Prior, like in the 70s, they were in Israel, so they had parishes over there. But this is like going back almost, 1,000 years or something that had been the ownership of the original Russian church, not this KGB church. Well, the KGB church goes to Israel and basically has Israel do some backdooring, and they end up stealing those churches, like $100 million worth of church property from the Rokor parishes. Just stole them. It's pretty crazy. But they eventually later on they infiltrated the Rokor hierarchy and set up KGB around the patriarch, and then booted him out, sent him to a mental hospital, said he was crazy or whatever, and then put a KGB guy up in there, and then they capitulated in 2007, where now they're the Rokor MP, right? So it's pretty scummy stuff. Prior to that, they were like a part of the Catacomb Church and like the True Orthodox of Greece. So these were churches that weren't controlled by the state and didn't have like funding and all this. They were just, churches that had been the historical church that had always been there and had always been in these type of church buildings. And so this evil hierarchy, he's an atheist too, by the way. This guy he doesn't believe in God. Like, he was on TV and said he didn't believe in the resurrection. He believes in evolution, and he does a lot of ecumenical activities and stuff. So they see the church as just an institution to fulfill the Soviet plans,
So a lot of people like the Jordan Peterson style religion. That's hilarious.
Like, the confusing aspect is that some people blame Christ or Christianity as a whole, but it's like what ends up happening is, in the scriptures say this is going to happen, that false teachers are going to try to take a hold of the church, and they're wolves in sheep's clothing. And I think this is a perfect example of what we would call a wolf in sheep's clothing. He looks like a patriarch. He has a beard like one. He's got a cassock, but he's KGB, born and raised. Like,
to be honest, what amazes me is the fact that people see one video and it either confirms their fears or confirms their belief, and that's all they go on about. They go and verify stuff.
What are you asking to verify, man?
That what he's saying is actually anything that is possibly going to happen, or if he's just some guy standing there talking shit.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, well, that is surprising, right? Because you got guys like Dyer, right? And he believes this. He believes this guy's a legitimate patriarch, and he commemorates him as a legitimate holy patriarch. And this guy is basically just a Russian mob boss in a cassock, It's pretty crazy. But that's how they view the church. They view it as this institution, and it's like kind of canonical TM, where they trample on the canons that the church has always had. And
to be honest,
bishops and metropolitans never had a lot of money. They would give all their money away. That's the historical way of doing stuff. They didn't just keep their money.
So Unseen Warfare, did he use your Jade Dyer decoder ring to look at him? Maybe if you use the decoder ring, you understand that you can ignore the KGB stuff.
What?
If you use your Jade Dyer decoder ring, you would acknowledge that you should just ignore the KGB stuff and just accept it face value.
That's what I just said. I said, yeah, don't watch one video and then proclaim it to be true. It's like you need to actually go and verify.
Are you talking to me about this? Like, I need to verify that this is true?
Yes. No.
Oh, okay. Well,
what you're saying.
Okay, I have verified what I'm saying. Look, I'm not going to do a pissing contest with your belligerent ass, for one. Like, dude, chill out. There's a book called High Treason you can look up, right? And it has all that stuff in it, dude. And it's not just like I'm a part of the church that he's persecuting, bro. What are you talking about? I have CIA paperwork on it. So
persecuted too, because I'm a fucking straight white man. What are you on about? Everyone can cry victim these days.
Dude, I don't know what your problem is, man, but you're probably the biggest asshole I've ever come across, dude. You really are. You interrupt people, you talk shit, you piss on everything everybody else says, you scream belligerently. You're absolutely obnoxious, dude.
And Smith was here today. This is hilarious.
To back it up, go read a book.
Which book do you read? He just told you a book.
Don't start spouting shit.
This is ironic.
How you don't even know what I know? Like, homie, like it's crazy.
Yeah,
I don't, because you haven't proven anything.
Yeah, don't believe it in video unless it's on Telegram.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that we've essentially verified a lot of the information in this video. But yeah, thank you. It is a valid concern. But yeah, the fact is that this church is legit, set up by the KGB, the patriarch set up by the KGB. And yeah, the fact is that some of the things that they're about to show in terms of just pictures, is pretty you know, significant. But yeah, here I'm gonna play
I'm
some of
not
this.
just some random like that. I just watched this video once, dude, or something like. I'm in the church called the Catacomb Church that they mentioned that the MP Church killed 100,000 members of. That's the church I'm a part of, dude. So shut the fuck up. Like what?
And then also they got this idea about what do you call it, going toe to toe with the Bolsheviks. I mean, so yeah, so these
Yeah, it was the Tsarists versus kind of like the Bolsheviks in Russia, and the Bolsheviks took over, and just kind of killed the Tsar and took everything. So.
Yeah. So pretty much what they're saying is that these are red Russians pretending to be white Russians, so they can just have a two-party thing.
Absolutely, they're pretending to be traditional Orthodox, and they're not. But they'll refer to Stalin as like a great Orthodox leader. And the last 4 patriarchs have all been KGB agents put in place. And I do have the information for that if you want to see it. As a matter of fact, I think I posted it in your Discord, dude. What?
Yeah, you did. Let's play the rest of this video for now.
Yeah, and you gotta love his hat, and of course, very interesting.
I guess CM Floatsteed has the same tailor.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely crazy outfits.
Kirill has been spotted wearing a $30,000 Breguet watch, infamously airbrushed from his official photos. In stark contrast to the traditional ascetic image of the Orthodox clergy, Patriarch Kirill owns a collection of luxury cars. But for travel over longer distances, he prefers private jets, generously provided by his sponsors. Kirill and his 2 cousins own 9 luxury apartments. However, he rarely spends time in any of them, as he also has built numerous private residences in Orthodox parishes across Russia. One of them is a lavish mansion in the same area as Putin's scandalous $1 billion palace on the coast of the Black Sea. Patriarch Kirill also enjoys spending time on his luxurious private yachts, like this one, gifted to him by Putin and estimated to have cost between $4 and $7 million. In return, the church supports all national policies, often blurring the lines between spiritual guidance and political endorsement.
А на Донбассе существует неприятие, принципиальное неприятие так называемых ценностей, которые сегодня предлагаются теми, кто претендует на мировую власть, в тот счастливый мир. Мир избыточного потребления, мир видимой свободы.
The church also ruthlessly punishes the Kremlin's critics among its ranks. A priest who wrote a short post in support of Alexei Navalny in 2021 was stripped of his clerical duties and forced to undergo a so-called spiritual rehabilitation. A year earlier, another priest criticized the opening of a war-themed Orthodox temple. It was originally meant to showcase an icon of Vladimir Putin with military officials. The priest was banned from performing any clerical work the very next day. After the beginning of the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Kirill's support for the Kremlin only grew.
Эта война была начата теми, кто в Киеве допустил дьявольский мрак в свои сердца и слепо следовал указаниям, направленным на сеяние вражды в среде единого народа Святой Руси. Да хранит Господь воинов наших на трудных путях, по которым идут они сегодня с риском для своей жизни. Сколь важно, чтобы в условиях военных действий рядом с воинами находились священники, которые молились бы вместе с ними.
This has led to sanctions from Canada, Ukraine, the United Kingdom, and the Czech Republic, and many of his own foreign jurisdictions cutting all ties with the Moscow Patriarchate. Even Pope Francis has famously warned Kirill not to become Putin's altar boy. For Vladimir Putin, however, this is yet another way to justify the war in Ukraine.
Yeah, and you know, obviously, look who's talking, Francis. But yeah, you know, we'll see in a minute. You know, Francis is an altar boy for some other people that you might want to know about.
И мы как мученики попадем в рай. А они
The
просто
same
сдохнут.
people
Когда
actually
речь идет о
behind the
власти,
scenes.
тем более высшей власти,
Oh wait, I'm sorry. What was that, Unseen?
Say people behind the scenes.
Yeah,
If
really.
you go
Yeah.
to if you look at the newspapers, like their most popular newspaper in Russia is an exact replica of the New York Times we have in, you know, New York or whatever. And all the people that publish the paper are, you could guess the ethnic group, you know. So
Yeah. And Putin is definitely controlled by those types of institutions. We've went over a lot of that information here, and there's a lot of ties to Trump with the Russian connection as well. We've covered some of that. So yeah, anyways.
the Zog or whatever, right?
Yeah, definitely.
то критерии христианскости и церковности там чисто формальные. Мало кому христианство жмет. Христианство, которое он для себя придумал. Да? Вот. И патриарх Кирилл и Путин в данном случае совсем не исключение. Их Бог прощает им все.
Священник не имеет права заниматься политикой, и это не случайно. И что будет, если я вовлекусь в политическую борьбу, займу одну из точек зрения, буду отстаивать какую-то конкретную политическую концепцию? Каково будет отношение ко мне людей, которые разделяют другие политические взгляды и другую политическую концепцию? Но я ведь и для них должен быть отцом.
But yeah, we'll bring that back. But yeah, it's interesting to say the least. You know, but yeah. And we're gonna take a little music break and we'll bring back Kaczynski here. Blessings. Whoops. Okay, I think I pressed the wrong button there. Sorry about that. Okay, here it is. Blessings.
The individual is handicapped by coming face to face with a conspiracy so monstrous that he cannot believe it exists. That's part of what's happening here. The biggest lie we've ever been involved with.
With false image existence, before you betwixt, you give your birthright for porridge. Curses unearth these birds brought upon us. The serpents, they lurk in birth of the carnage. Stuck in confusion, don't know the author. Snake oil in a lamp, walking through darkness. Sold by an astronaut, lab co-prophet that hold up a rod with two serpents on it. Two wings on the heliocentric sun disk. Same symbol found on the pharaoh sarcophagus. The same Babylon erect a phallic obelisk to the same religion pushed by the Catholics. The devil done did a half mental backflip. The temple of Mithra under the Vatican. The false trinity, you know they on they semi-rama shit. The horror Babylon, that pussy could pull a battleship.
You don't like one vaccine and suddenly you're an anti-vaxxer. They're a tinfoil hat if you speak against 5G. We see a pattern here. The answer is not to argue the science. The answer is to demonize the people speaking out.
Yo, I'm a 10-4 hat wearing anti-vax parent. You can catch the full 5 fingers cause you mad ignorant. You can never give me the jab. Nigga, you lack clearance. You can't see the signs of the times. Nigga, you lack vision. You can't obtain freedom of mind because you have neither 5G system designed to fry you. Can't smell the smoke, invisible fire. Can't see the weapon you're living inside of. Direct energy DARPA designed it. That VMAT 2 gene linked to the father. Religious extremists, they vaccine for it, making you wonder if marks upon your right hand or forehead. Unplug the matrix into the gauntlet. War is upon us. Prophets spoke of it. Hold on to love quick. End all the suffering. Fuck it, we off this.
What we're dealing with is a huge mass mind control propaganda outbreak. We're not really dealing with a viral outbreak.
All you know is propaganda. You've been fed since birth. They've been lying on the news. They've been lying in the church. They've been lying to the public about the shape of the earth. Everything you see on the TV set is an act. Holding hands under the table, knife tip at they back. Cause they already sold their soul, ain't no turning back for them. And I can't fuck with them. They suspicious, looking mad foreign. The world straight wicked, why do they adore it? While the righteous witness and abhor it. The minds of the wise confounded in Pandora. The boiling point's been reached of the oil. The Gazas erupt right from the soil. Light your torch or walk through the darkness. Fist ain't no match for a long stick. Agent Smith go down from no full clip. Just one touch, assemble into a full chip.
Buried on the battlefield. I was buried on the battlefield, located near Israel. The rest of my platoon was trapped upon a hill. I heard mega real, be real. I was buried on the battlefield. I heard mega bombs, firearms, and more alarms, hand grenades, man rage and evil ways. My destination was to seek life. I mean, stars were so low, they appeared as street lights. I was shown the crucifixion by 2 Egyptians with war in heaven. I saw Christ with a Mac 11, so I joined his army. Prepared for Armageddon, 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 Armageddon. Slowly taking me into the mental orgasms, ejaculating, stimulating, relating to life, incubating, rotating around light beams. From a light beam, I was formed in a white dream, and then redeemed like powder out of my maker, into nature, returned the vapor, killer, priest, was born in the pillar of yeast, lost in the miscarriage, the automatic for marriage.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm gonna continue with the reading here for a little while. But yeah, we'll be wrapping up here soon. Blessings. And so he's talking about the distractions, exposure of children to computers and electronic media, attention deficit disorder. Obviously, we talked a little bit about the compensatory mechanisms in the use of or prescription drugs to solve the problem. And of course, that's been employed on kids. Kids have been given Ritalin, phenobarbital, okay, um, SSRIs, and other dangerous chemicals, okay.
Let alone all the other things we're not allowed to mention that they now get shitloads of.
You're right. You know, yeah, definitely lots of poison. And yeah, blessings. But yeah, most people, most of their time, follow the path of least resistance. That is, they do what will make them comfortable. Obviously, learned helplessness, bystander effect, many psychological, psychologically measurable effects here. Psychological measurable? I don't know. But yeah, blessings. Yeah, the underlying problems are difficult to attack, can be corrected only at a certain price. So most people take the easy way out, utilize one of the pathways of least resistance, quick alleviation of their discomfort. For those who are not satisfied simply with immersion in the pleasures provided by the entertainment industry, there are surrogate activities, and there are religious as well as ideologies that serve psychological needs in the same way that religions do. For many who suffer from a sense of powerlessness, it will be more effective to strive for a position of power within the system and try to change the system. And here we have the classic problem, right? That people seek to reform the system, right? And in that way, they select the path of least resistance because they want to maximize the benefits of the system, right? So, yeah. For those who do struggle against the system, it will be easier and more rewarding to concentrate on one or a few limited issues in regard to which there is a reasonable chance of victory than to address the intractable problems that are real sources of their discontent. Consider, for example, the kook variety of Christianity that has become a serious political force in recent years. I'm referring to those who believe that the world will end within 40 years and that sort of thing. You know what I mean? Say, where are those people when you need them? We got the freak here. You mean blessings, right? But
Hey,
yeah,
one thing going back to like that video and stuff, John Paul, the Pope John Paul the second or whatever, he said that communism would have worked if the church was involved, which is kind of a scary thought, especially when I see that video.
Well, it's been happening since 1917. Communism has been involved with it. You know?
So yeah, guess he was wrong about that one.
I mean, as an outward institution, it's lucrative. I mean, they're pulling in millions, But as far as what the church's job is the salvation of souls. No, you know. So
It's progressing its own agenda and controlling the population.
Atheism is
absolutely.
becoming a good business model as well.
Well, and you'll notice like these Orthodox people on the internet, they'll say that, Putin is based and Kirill's based and all these people are, they cheer them on and they think that they're traditional Orthodox Christians and that's the canonical church. But it's like I said, it's a church established by Stalin. All the patriarchs were KGB, most of the clergy. If you speak out, they punish you, like a like spirituality type thing going on there or something.
Well, I mean, if your whole clergy is KGB and your whole media is KGB or CIA, interchangeable, it's like, well, who's left? Like,
Well, who's left as far as a church
like who's
organization?
not on the payroll, basically?
The
And that's what
churches
it's all
that are
about, is the
called
paycheck.
the churches that are called catacomb or catacomnics. So these are churches that have gone underground, just like they did in Rome when the pagan government sort of were attacking Christians. They went into the catacombs in Rome. And if they got caught, they got thrown to the lions. And it's the exact same situation.
Well, wait a second. If Putin's funding them, why has he got to make them hide out?
He's not funding the catacomb Christians. He's funding these state-run KGB fake, like wolves in sheep's clothing, that everybody thinks is the true church. You get what I mean?
Yeah,
So they're going into like an antichrist church, and they think it's a true church, but it's not. It never has been. It was never the true church. The true church had to go underground.
Revelation 17.
And it's pretty insane because a lot of people read those verses and they don't know what's going on because Protestantism or whatever, but these things are actually happening, where these like a full-on antichrist church is set up, a red church, and they're atheists. They don't believe in God, and most of them will admit it behind closed doors, kind of, and things slip out every now and then.
Really?
Yeah. For instance, Kirill was asked once on television, like on a CTV or something, and they asked him. He said, "Do you believe in the resurrection?" He's like, "No," and he starts laughing.
Weird. But I could ask you if you're saved and you don't know.
Dude, I know that Christ has given me salvation, but it's like I got to work it out with fear and trembling, like Paul said. I don't want to go there.
No, I hear you. I'm just saying it's a trip because like you got to really be a mind reader or trust God, I guess.
I think the majority of people that say they're saved are trusting in themselves, and they're saying they're trusting in God.
Yeah, I just have to assume I'm safe because it's really no way for me to save myself otherwise. So.
I know I'm saved.
I trust in I trust in myself because God helps those who help themselves.
Yeah, that doesn't sound prideful.
You guys know who wrote that line?
No, I don't.
It better not be Alistair Crowley.
It's Benjamin Franklin. Close enough. Benjamin Franklin. but yeah, I mean, but
Damn it,
yeah,
Some might say it's closer.
Some other Freemason. Far
exactly.
And he discovered it. I guess he didn't. He wasn't a real discovery. He found electricity in the air. So.
No, he didn't.
Ben Franklin, yeah, but the kite
he
thing.
stole someone else's idea and shit and got all the credit for it.
Well, you can't steal an idea. You can't steal an idea because they still have the idea.
He stole the idea from someone else and stole the credit.
Yeah, like these type of lines, like God helps those who help themselves. All things in moderation, even moderation. These are pseudo Christian principles that were used to devise what is commonly known as the Protestant work ethic by sort of pen names of
Yeah, poor Richard.
Franklin. Yeah,
Yes.
like poor Richard, right? He took these pen names and devised these Christian treatises that would basically teach people to have quietude, the sort of thing that is you know, colloquially termed slave morality or whatever, under the guise of Christianity for his economic projects, right? So this was a sort of, he was like a, you know, um, sort of John Dewey at the time, where he was like, yeah, we got to get people involved in these projects, right? So,
There's things like that. Go ahead.
oh no, I was just saying, he's basically psyoping people with yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, that so a lot of those the Protestant churches even now that would call themselves Judeo-Christians or whatever, they're front agencies that were set up by the Israelis, and to send funds to Israel, through these Protestant churches. And they have no clue that the true followers of Christ, at least in the context of the scriptures, and I believe this too, are those that follow Christ. So the true Israel are those that follow Christ. They still think the chosen people are, those who call themselves Jewish and follow the Talmud, So it's just a big game, really. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, before we move on, I need to talk something out with DK Spiracy because he hit on one of my big issues. So he claims that Ben Franklin stole an idea, but what I'm saying is it's not even possible to steal ideas because they're not rivalries. If I copied something TML did, we still both have the same idea, so it's not theft.
No. If you copied something that someone else did, you're a counterfeiter. Don't fucking try and pull that shit with me.
Yeah, it's like, what? Just because you took his idea and it became yours, it's your idea now?
No, you can't steal an idea because he still has his own idea.
Counterfeit. No, you're a fake and a counterfeit.
I could if I cite him, if I take his idea and also cite him, is that also theft somehow? Even though he has idea and he has the credit.
No, I see.
Dude, if you didn't have an idea yourself and you steal my idea and start saying it's your idea, go fuck yourself.
You can't steal ideas because they still have a copy of them.
You can steal an idea. If someone else came up with something, someone else had an idea, created something, and you steal that, and then go say that idea was yours and you came up with it, you just stole their idea.
So,
and you are a piece of shit.
Well, if there's nothing new under the sun, then he didn't come up with the idea anyways. So it's impossible for me to steal from him because he didn't have it in the first place.
If you didn't have it without me, then you stole it off me.
You didn't have it originally because there's nothing new under the sun.
Then you stole it off me.
Well, you stole it before I stole it, so we're at the same level.
Where did I steal it from?
I don't know.
Because an idea came to me, and I put it out there, and say that I've come up with something, and then you steal that idea and go say it's your idea.
Yeah, you stole it first, fair and square. You stole it first, fair and square.
Crazy.
Stop trying to prove that it's okay to steal shit. This seems
yeah,
like
it's only okay when you do it. I agree, DK. It's only okay when you do it. I agree, DK.
It seems like it's something a certain race does lots. Tries to steal everyone else's shit. Yeah. Or the fucking Jews.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say black people because of Hank. Like what? I was like, what?
No, they just try and claim that they built it, but it's the Jews that actually stole it off us.
When you say us, who do you mean?
The fucking Celtics who traveled the world and built fucking most Jewish shit.
Okay, the colonists. I got it.
No, I'm talking thousands of years ago. Do you think fucking anyone turned up in America and the fucking native Indians had built half the fucking buildings that were already there? Stop being
Man, I'm just gonna
stupid.
say it, dude. Australians are New Zealanders.
Yeah, we're the smart criminals who fucking escaped.
Yeah.
Yeah, but blessings. But yeah, I'm gonna get back to this thing here, and yeah, like I said, I'm not gonna be here for too long. But yeah, this whole line of inquiry that he's laying down here is very fascinating. I know you guys are gonna be interested. He says, consider, for example, the kook variety of Christianity. Okay, he's talking about these people that think the world's going to end in 40 years. It seems fairly obvious that these people retreat into their fantasy world in order to escape from the anxieties and frustrations of modern life. Who needs to worry about the nuclear war or about the environment when the world will end soon, anyways, and all the true believers will go to heaven? For those who are
Yeah.
disturbed by the decay of traditional morality, it is much easier to fight abortion and gay marriage than to recognize that rapid technological change necessarily leads to rapid changes in social values.
Listen,
This
I'm
is
just
Dr.
saying
Get Right.
you have a really great opportunity here. Donald Trump won. You have the fulfillment of Daniel 11 and 12, basically. Why waste the opportunity? Let's get it done. We can do this.
Let's get what done?
You do realize
Get that
he's
temple
president
built.
45 and 47. Hey, I hate to do the fucking
Yo.
Smith thing, but he's president 45 and 47. That's 9/11.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I guess the only which he's talking about kooky Christians, so I guess he kind of covered his base there, you know. But there is like I read from earlier, like there is critiques on technology coming from what I would call true Christians. So
Yeah, but I think it's fascinating what he's saying here is that people want to focus on, you know, these the symptoms and not the disease, because he's saying, well, basically, you know, look at all this ideas about abortion and gay marriage that are caused by changes, rapid changes in social values due to rapid technological change. So
he's
that's
not wrong. He's
yeah,
absolutely not wrong. So
yeah. So he's like, look, if you nip that, nip the cause in the bud, you want to be fighting, and look at all the people that are fighting. It's almost become a joke. The fact that they're like opposing liberals, and they're fighting. It's almost
well,
like they're
that's
doing it for
true.
a
That's
grift,
true. They
right?
are doing that, and that's like
Yeah,
this humanism like type thing going on. Where, again, like I've said it before, where a Christian wants a kingdom of man instead of a kingdom of God, and that's what the Pharisees wanted.
yeah,
It's and I think that's maybe what he's missing too, is that it's like he's there's a middle path there where it's not an extreme. I don't know. I think he's going too extreme with it, where it's like, yes, you're right, but he's taking his reason and his logic, where his correctness, and it's creating a cold calculation that I think in the long run it not only poisons his soul, right, which most would laugh, but it didn't end up well for him. You know what I mean? For his the remainder of his life from these thoughts, you know.
Joel23 says we destroy everything. So why are we postponing this? You know, let's put a little pressure on him. That would be fun.
Well, you know,
Didn't Julian the Apostate do that? He tried to rebuild the temple in 70 AD, and it kept the bricks kept falling down or something. No, it wasn't 70 AD that he did that, but he kept trying to. Julian, look it up, and it's recorded history. He kept trying to rebuild the temple, and like fireballs came out of the sky and knocked it down, dude. And it's recorded by the.
Well, now you got Donald Trump as an actual real estate developer.
I know it sounds
pulled
ridiculous,
permits,
but
built
I'm not even kidding.
skyscrapers, and could get a deal done on the Temple Mount with all the different factions.
Yeah, I hope he does better with this than the wall. That was disappointing.
The moment that temple starts getting built, that's like we're streamlined.
Then we'll build it modularly. We'll build modularly and just move the stuff on trucks.
Well, supposedly they already have the red heifers there. They have them like dispersed or something.
Probably just waiting for Donald to do a peace deal.
They've got 2 of them, I believe, and they're waiting for them to come of age or waiting for a certain day or some crap. But the Messiah can't turn up until there is officially 6 million Jews that have been sacrificed. So them lying about the Holocaust doesn't actually.
Yeah, that's another no in terms of we can't talk about that. We can't say that at all. That'll get the channel shut down 100%.
My bad. Sorry, but the Jews believe that there needs to be 6 million sacrificed.
Yeah, I just said right now that we can't cover that topic at all, dude.
I wasn't going into the other topic. I was just
right.
Clean out yours, DK.
Yeah, I mean, like the fact is that they'll shut the channel down for talking about Holocaust or whatever that shit is. Right? So you can't fucking mention that at all, right? So the fact is that there's historical issues that'll get you banned. There's things that we can't talk about.
Honestly, then do the right thing and just kick me off for the night, bro, so your channel doesn't get shut down.
No, it's not. It's not about that. It's just. We have to give disclaimers. You know what I mean, right? And the fact is that, you know what I mean, right? That type of stuff. It's the opinion of. You know what I mean? Obviously, people on the panel can say whatever they want, but you know what I mean, right? My opinion is not the people on the panel's whole thing. But yeah, we can't talk about certain shit on this fucking panel. I'm here to talk about technological slavery, and I think I'm doing a good job talking about the Tao Te Ching. And the fact is I try to guide these conversations and all that type of stuff. But you know what I mean, I do notice that it goes off the rails and all that type of stuff, and I appreciate you guys being here. But the fact is that I appreciate the public forum. We need to have these discussions in a public forum so that many people can participate and so that people can push back on these ideas, right? So that there's not just a echo chamber or cult or whatever that is, right? So the fact is that I've challenged many ideas and views here, and we've opened up many topics, what I mean, in terms of medical shit, legal shit, fucking shit that we're not allowed to talk about, people on the panel talk about or whatever, right? These are the views of the fucking panelists and shit. I'm just here to talk about, my research, my things, obviously what I talk about that comes out of my mouth is my motherfucking opinion, and I presented many original ideas and concepts, relating to different ideas here. So, yeah, so, and it doesn't have to be about,
sorry, YouTube.
yeah, it doesn't have to be about the conspiracies or anything like that. Yeah, you can't even, yeah, they don't even give a fuck about shit like that. You just don't talk about shit like that, right? You just look at the rules and shit. You just don't talk about shit like that. but yeah, the fact is that I mean I mean yeah, and the fact is that people can strike that shit on demand. There's motherfuckers who watch and strike that shit on fucking demand. So there's people who don't want me to be online 100%. Okay, so we have to think about these things. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But yeah, and it's getting into a late hour here, so yeah, I'm just gonna continue reading here. But yeah, see, that's why we gotta stay on these topics here. You know what I mean? Because yeah, technological progress brings too many problems too rapidly. All right, he says well, here actually, let me finish reading what he says here. He says, who needs to worry about nuclear war or about the environment when the world will end soon, anyways, and all true believers will go to heaven? For those who are disturbed by the decay of traditional morality, it is much easier to fight abortion and gay marriage than to recognize that rapid technological change necessarily leads to rapid changes in social values, the quote unquote causes to which leftists devote themselves represent a similar form of escapism. And the quote unquote system's neatest trick in this volume through the course of through the recourse of these various forms of escapism, people avoid confronting the real sources of their discontentment. So yeah, many forms of escapism, liberalism, there's forms of religion, spiritual materialism, obviously they count as forms of escapism. Remember, you see it
I
all
was
the
just
time.
looking into escapism. I sent you an article kind of about it.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean yeah, I put these two things on a poll, escapism and voyeurism. I mean, and two different aspects of the same problem. I mean,
Right.
definitely. One coming from the fact that everything's interconnected, and the other coming from the fact that the way you deal with this interconnectedness is through mediation, right? And that mediation causes you to become a spectator, an observer. I mean,
Yeah, I can explain. Sometimes I spectate because I can't actually play the game. I can't get in the game in any significant way, so I'll watch instead. And if it makes me bad, then I'm bad.
Yeah, I think that's back to this idea of chasing this phantom. It's delusion and a disassociation, and that's what they want. I think that's the main goal is like to create just mindless consumers. And is that his point? Is that what he's trying to get at?
Yeah, of course I prefer to play than watch. It's just things didn't come together so I can actually do what I want.
I'm talking about Dr. K.
Yeah,
yeah,
I know, but this is what Dr. K is complaining about. The spectators.
yeah. I mean, this paragraph here is powerful stuff here. Um, and I'm gonna leave it with this, and we'll open up discussions for a little bit, and then I'll close down this show and play this clip from me and Annapurna. Definitely a fascinating discussion that we had, and I hope that this video stays up. If it's not up, then you can catch this show on maybe Friday morning. We'll re-upload it. But if it's taken down for the copyrights or whatever, but if it's still up, then you guys will definitely enjoy a lot of this material blessings. And I don't think that will be taken down. Yeah, don't worry about the little thing you said, DK. You know what I mean? It takes a lot more than that. And of course, Drew and them, they just did the No Hate November video, so I'm sure that people are talking about the 6 million thing. But the fact is that we don't want to have too many of those types of things, because in the future they're having the Holocaust Memorial definition bill. You know what I mean? So in the future, these episodes will not be available because they're gonna change the laws and all that shit. This is the type of shit I'm trying to think ahead about. I mean,
They'll literally send anti-defamation guys to you
yeah,
about that
exactly.
type of
So
stuff.
so you know what I mean? Yeah. So
Yes,
you know
and
what I
I'll
mean?
call them racist when they get here.
Yeah. Now Trump is getting in, so he's definitely gonna be putting
I,
those things
I
through.
mean,
But
I'm an open
He
Zionist.
already
If
is.
they
So,
say I'm
yeah.
bad, then I'll
but
just
we're
say
touching on
they're
that.
Nazis. We're good.
Move from that.
Yeah. Excuse me. But yeah, definitely. We've had all sides. You know, we've had, obviously there's people here who want the temple to be built. So, blessings. Even if we make the extremely optimistic assumption, he says, that any one of the problems could be solved through reform, it is unrealistic to suppose that all or most of the important problems can be solved through reform and solved in time. Here's a partial list of problems: war with modern weapons, not comparable to earlier warfare, nuclear weapons, accumulation of nuclear waste, other pollution problems of many different kinds, global warming, ozone depletion. We could even cancel those out, right? But the fact is that they're going to use new technologies to deal with those problems, whether they're real or not, right? Exhaustion of natural resources, overpopulation and crowding, genetic deterioration of humans due to relaxation of natural selection, abnormally high rate of extinction of species, risk of disaster from biotechnological tinkering, possible or probable replacement of humans by intelligent machines, biological engineering of humans, uh, an insult to human dignity, dominance of large organizations and powerlessness of individuals, surveillance technology that makes individuals still more subject to the power of large organizations, propaganda and other manipulative psychological techniques, psychoactive medications, mental problems of modern life, including inter alia. I don't know what that is. Does anybody know what that is?
I'll look it up now.
Inter alia. Inter and then alia. ALIA. I don't know what that is. Inter alia. Stress, depression, mania, anxiety disorders.
I think it means among other things in this context.
Yeah,
It's
obsession
Latin.
with self.
What is
Is
that?
that what that means?
Among other things.
Okay. Because I didn't get anything where I just.
Yeah, it's Latin.
Yeah, inter alia. Yeah, stress, depression, mania, anxiety disorders, attention deficit disorder, addictive disorders, domestic abuse, and generalized incompetence. The solution of any one of the foregoing problems, if possible at all, would require a long and difficult struggle. If your colleague thinks that all of these problems can be solved and solved in time by attacking each problem separately, then he's dreaming. The only way out is to attack the underlying source of all these problems, which is the techno-industrial system itself. And I'll read that again next time. But yeah, that brings us to a close here.
That the claim is mut. That it also says that about inter alia. Just saying.
Interesting. So yeah, yeah. What else, folks? I mean, definitely a very exciting time here. Lots of different stuff. We had Smith, crying about obviously being censored or whatever, and we've given Smith lots of time here. So the fact is that he's panel handling from platform to platform, trying to get his views out. The fact is that we only have a limited amount of time here, and I only have a limited amount of time here, and I have tons of resources that I have to bring together, and if people don't respect the time or the resources, then I'm gonna have to move on to others right? Because many of the people here have been, rather interesting interlocutors, all right? And yeah, I'm gonna go around here and let everybody have some words. I mean,
Yeah, I'll go first. Count Smitty, you need to get your own show so you don't have to riff from other people's time for your platform. You just need your own show. I heard YouTube channels are pretty cheap these days. So get your own show. Don't trust things just because they're on Telegram. Check your facts. And truth is just a feeling.
thank you, Hank. And yeah, what else? Who else? Blessings.
Yo, Rock. I'm out.
Yeah, thank you, DeFreak, man. Many prayers for you, DeFreak, and many prayers for Hank. I really greatly appreciate you guys for being here on this panel. It takes a lot of, sometimes courage, and these guys, DeFreak and Hank Oflamio. The thing I have to say about them is they do not give a fuck what people think about them, and I really, really appreciate that about them, and I appreciate the time that they give here. They've had lots of conflicts with other people on these panels. You know what I mean? And I appreciate their cogency, their respectful behavior, and their honesty at times. You know what I mean? Yeah. But DK Spiracy, another man who's honesty I've come to appreciate greatly. How you doing here, sir? All right. I mean,
I'm doing great, and thank
yeah,
you
of
for having
course.
me on your panel again, man.
Yeah, of course. You got
Definitely
any?
really awesome.
Yeah, of course. You got any wisdom to share with these people? Blessings. I mean,
My last bit of wisdom is like, yes, do trust in your God, but trust that your God has you, so trust in yourself. So if you do not do anything because you do not believe God has your back, it still means you're not doing anything and you're waiting for God to do everything for you. So you cannot just be lax and go, oh, God's going to do everything. It brings me to a little limerick thing that I read today. There's a man in his house who's drowning, like it's flooding. A man comes past in a canoe, says, do you want a hand? He's like, no, God will save me. So the guy paddles on. Woman comes past in a speedboat, says, do you want help? He's like, no, God will save me. Then a helicopter comes along and says, do you need a hand? He's like, no, God will save me. So he drowns. And when he's standing in front of the pearly gates, he asks God, why didn't you save me? And God's like, what are you on about? I sent you a canoe, a speedboat, and a helicopter. Start looking at the things that God actually does do for you, because most people don't actually see it in front of their own face. And on that, I'm out. Much love, no fear.
yeah, blessings, DK. Yeah, you have a beautiful night, and yeah, definitely a man from New Zealand with the limerick. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, classy. I mean, yeah, you have a beautiful night, my friend. I mean, peace. And who else we got here? I mean, of course, we got our friend, and yeah, we got our friend here, Unseen Warfare. What do you got to say to these people? Blessings.
What's up? All right. So, one of my favorite verses. It's look at the lilies; they neither toil nor spin, right? And I think Henry Miller said that once. I don't know if you know who that is, but it's a writer that kind of wrote some awful things. But I used to like him. I appreciate the show. It's always good, and I think this idea of chasing the phantom's interesting. This techno Satan nightmare. So, thank you once again for having me. So, have a good night.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for your friendship, and blessings to you. And peace be with you and your family. And yeah, thank you so much for being here with me again, my friend. I mean, many prayers.
Yeah, you too, man. Later.
Yeah, of course. And you know, Reddington, what you got to say to these people? Yeah, don't know if the brother is still with us, but really, this is one of the OGs.
I'm
Oh, there
here.
he is. Yeah, blessings. Yeah.
Yep,
What you
yep.
got?
Just let's see here. We can do that one quote, Brandolini's law, where let's see. I want to get the quote right. Hold on a second.
Definitely. Yeah. Take your time, brother. Blessings.
Yeah, here it is. Oh wait, what? Where'd it go? Here we go. The amount of energy needed to refute a lie is in an order of magnitude bigger than to produce it. Brandolini's law, which I would agree with mostly.
Yeah, that's some deep stuff. Definitely to chew on those words. Uh, yeah, definitely. You know what I mean? And we also have a wild Hanko Flamio here. Hank, did you have something else here, or were you just here?
I was just here. I backstage myself.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I didn't even know you could do that. I was
Dang, he
I was
just
like,
backstaging himself.
yeah,
Yeah,
he
I'm a freaking
backstage.
magician. I know what these
Yeah.
crazy things do.
Yeah. Well, yeah, well, blessings. And yeah, I don't know where I put my glasses here. Yeah,
I
I
know
guess I'll
where I put
just
mine.
yeah, I guess I'll just put these yellow ones on. Actually, let me put these yellow motherfuckers on and talk to you guys here.
I should probably get some prescription blue light blockers or something.
Yeah. And
Or get polarized glasses. They do pretty good. They're cheap too.
Yeah.
yeah. But definitely an exciting stream. Give some parables about heaven and hell really quickly. You know what I mean? In terms of heaven, there was a man who made it into heaven to relate the story of decay. You know what I mean? And every step of the way, he thought that he had made it to the highest spot. So, there's a tree on the way to heaven. He was content with the tree and he sat down next to the tree. So he didn't make it to the gate. Once he made it to the gate, he asked to be provided with the gate. He thought the gate was beautiful enough to sustain his entire existence, so he wouldn't move past the gate. So the man actually never made it into heaven because of his lack of mystery for the true beauty that could be out there. Now there's a man in hell, who exists in the lowest part of hell. I mean, but he has the most amount of knowledge, and that's why we have to pray that God saves us from the knowledge that does not benefit.
I mean, not all knowledge is going towards our salvation, and you know what I mean. We have to clarify knowledge. God is not present in idols. The body is the temple, obviously. And your feelings will be your
Nor churches.
yeah, of course. I mean, we got to be aware of what's going on. Listen to everything, believe in nothing until you can prove it for yourself. Question what I say, definitely. Think for yourself, question authority. I mean, and definitely, don't ask why if you know it's wrong. Start a well-intentioned fight and see the lies flout in defense. Um, and you know we have to look for you know obviously we have to look for some form of certainty, and I know that freedom, and I'm trying to redefine freedom as grace, you know and redefine wisdom as faith. But before we get to these complex arrangements, because we need to find sane definitions and good value systems, and those that could be practically applied to our present situation. So we got to look beyond these modes that are employed on the surface. Obviously, we have to look at the architectonic, the ideas that create the symbols, the symbol making mechanisms that we employ. You know what I mean? Techniques, social techniques beyond all. But the fact is that it's as we begun the show with, the more you know people are allowed to behave like machines, the more they will behave. You know, so obviously, freedom is a constraining sort of thing as well. The more freedom you have, obviously, the more you must employ a sort of vigilance. So the fact is that freedom, you know, is about knowing the limitations of your own control, realizing how you've been programmed. And I greatly appreciate you guys for being here with me. You know, one of the ideas that in a Lul, and I'd like to open up a Lul here really quickly and quote some of these lines about freedom, because I end the show with this a lot, and I began the show with a Lul, but the quote sounds so good that I might as well read it this time to you guys. It says, freedom is not a static is not static but dynamic. Okay, so this idea of seeing freedom not as a vested interest and a static prize, but a dynamic goal. Because freedom itself is on a constantly shifting stage. You can't be neutral on a moving train, essentially, right? And we're on a road to, an ever accelerating road to the future, right? In which we need to grow ever more, understanding of our constraints within that scheme. I mean, so if we don't move with the times, essentially, I mean, we will become statically inclined to the sort of freedom that cannot become dynamic. You know what I mean? And this idea about dynamic versus static arts is also seen in Carlyle, right? Our readings when we were reading Thomas Carlyle. You know what I mean? He talks about things like religion and art, as being dynamic sorts of technique, whereas science and other technical pursuits are things that don't really shift from being dynamic. They have to be on the line of linear progression, right? And yeah, so he says freedom is not static but dynamic, not a vested interest but a prize continually to be won. The moment man stops and resigns himself, he becomes subject to determinism. He is most enslaved when he thinks he is comfortably settled in freedom. I mean,
That's a big one.
oh yeah. I mean, yeah, freedom itself is a paradox, and we will open up many discussions on that topic as well. I'm starting many discussions on that with one of our friends who's been watching the channel for a long time as well. But yeah, blessings, guys. The first step to blinding somebody is getting them to open their eyes, and the first step to seeing past the programming is to realize how you've been programmed. And yeah, thank you for joining us here on the Machine Lies, where we talk about the lies of the machine on the machine that lies. And yeah, here's some musical transition to the next part of the show. So yeah, blessings. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Easy.
Yeah, easy. And yeah, peace, guys. I mean, all right.
Executionist, y'all know the name. Stabbing the track with both hands. Executionist, y'all know the name. Executionist, y'all know the name. Stabbing the track with both hands. Executionist, y'all know the name. You out there? This is masterful, classical, material wax, imperial tactics. Black shit, I master traps that collapse backwards. All area access passes without brackets. Hit them, then I'ma shit on them and spit on them and send faxes. Maximum amount, not the minimal. The orator rock chop like Florida Seminole. Subliminal rap switch, make criminals act bitch. Instrumental in creating the most pinnacle rap shit. Got Tony Braxton looking women collapsing. My beats get feet to stepping like fast acting and acting. Dominant X-Men conference like Pac-10. Backslap, whack rap actors to get a reaction. My venom of rips, then is up, then I'm a wreck shit. Then I'm a flip, administer hits on this neck shit. DJs collect hits from them to hit the exit at they shows. The front row usually can get hectic. The X shit. Y'all know the name. Executionist. Stabbing the track with both hands together. The four. You out there? Executionist. Y'all know the name. Stabbing the track with both hands together. The four. Forever gon' win. Yeah. Check it. You wanna get to my level, but you don't hustle enough. Any attempts on touching my stuff and I'm fucking you up. I'm sick of weak shit winning, nigga. Your rhymes ain't rocking. The good life is a bitch. Seem like everybody cock blocking. The shot clock is running out, gunning out the police. I crack the teeth of any nigga with beef. Masterpiece, execution is naturally. Any problems come to Los Angeles and ask me.
Yo, catastrophe, none can match me. Naturally nasty, manually smash your faculty. Verbal assault and battery. Sporadically blast on the capacity crowd. Cause casualties, street savvy, niggas blast me out the navvy. Groupie chick wish she can have me. XZ in back of me, hit like a daiquiri. Accurately, you don't grab me, your skills still latchkey.
Y'all know the name. Executionist. Stabbing the track with both hands together. The four. You out there? Executionist. Stabbing the track. The track.
Yo, I got my man Rock Raider on the Rob Swift, where you at, son? What? Sinister, make him. Now we ready to go. Last but not least, total eclipse. What you don't know? I got a question. Who can see it? I don't know. But whenever I play, you know the skills gon' flow. Shit, we mastered defeat. You can't bring us. What? Y'all couldn't grab if y'all was doing that shit with 8 fingers. Come on, Black. We in the Hall of Fame. Got your picture in our crib on the wall of shame. I expect them C's to wanna murder me. Cause when we open up and start cutting, you wish you was in surgery. You see the X? Hardly. Here's some orphans, nigga. Take your ass back to doing party. You better off with somebody shooting you. And change your name to DJ I Got Beat by the Executioner.
Y'all know the name. Executionist. Stabbing the track with both hands together. The four. You out there? 50,000 in the cow tuck, gearbox. Got the 45 cow tuck, Giovanni style tuck. See the Cristalli rock, big bucks. Got the 45 cow tuck, Giovanni style tuck. See the Cristalli rock. Be up at the bar, what? Diamonds, carbon cut. The sluts get starstruck. Wonder if the car's what? The new BM ripped up. The Navigator truck. Feet be light skinned up with only gator stuff. For fly, mommy get hemmed up. She got the jada touch. This cash pushing they lens up. They can't hate enough. They counting what I spend up. Already made enough to live plus. You must eat out a fat plate of mush. Got what you lust. The boat carry smothered with slush. Yours covered with rust. Diamonds studded with dust. Mine flooded with crush. Rise big as a bus. 32 plus. What can you and your crew do to us? But look and discuss. Plot the seeds. Decide them seed from copping the VTWE LVEs. And stopping cheese. But we don't believe in knocking these. We cock and squeeze. At least some shit shot and breeze. Attracting these chicks mix. Black and Japanese. It's laughing these nitwits with fat stacks of G's. Back your ass, she shellac. Rapping the back of threes. On her knees. Seaman on all 7 C's. She gold mining. Looking for new fashion designing. Rings with rocks blinding. Cause my world started shining. Down to the beaches in the West D's with jet skis, only sex T's, but that's C's and Lex G, S3's T's, the blessed G, but guess be the ice, making my neck and chest freeze. Vietnamese, Tibetan G's with wet peas, and sets the threes, press the 3D to slept with me, the sexy, beauty of the week of the jet G's, Bangladesh G's on the other side of the Red Sea, the lefty, sipping Remy inside the Pepsi, Jewel shining. Holding down what you fell behind it. Make shit with silk lining. Penetrate right through your hymen. Handle a 9 like I'm Lake's Diamond. Organized crime. Bank rolls, yeah, we get those. Fly close, flip those. Pop foes, then we hit those. The whole click low. Click the sickos with the chick goes. Get the ones with the 6-0s. Hollow top, spit those. Let the dope pal. Leave no profile. Drama wow. Leave your lane Castellano style. With fifth llama cows. Whole clip be kinda wild. On a mission. Get the death kiss, end up missing. What you got? Tell the While I'm freeing the beast, the album set for its US and European release. I make you bounce just like a street hustler seeing police. When acrobatics in the place, the whack MC and decrease. Perception is regulator with some shit you'll never hear on no elevator. Creators and devastators, you know we'll never hesitate to leave you surprised with that hip hop hybrid to open your eyelids, the fly shit.
I pilot like a pirate on the 7 seas. Ignite the mic with an unleavened steez. Body your price nice, a slice shice, that's German for certain. Under shit you ought to be learning. Jesus, for rocking the sleeveless. Wife beater, I'm the motherfucking light breather. Sing your chest when I whisper fresh. Brother, think of death, then you sink to death, take a breath.
Make a left at the door if you ain't ready for the raw carnivore. Power source that bust through armored doors like a battering ram. I'm shattering jams. I'm leaping in the crowd like a Packard Lambo. You slackers and Sambos are straight getting handled by raps Rambo and Commando. Simply because you can't flow. Maniac material that murder the dance flow. Enhance shows and guarantee another advance show. If you brought your attitude in the spot, then get it out. Ladies got your hair permed, you bout to sweat it out. Let's make it worth your dough before you head it out. Get live, let it out. Come on and let it out. Yo, it's them Boston brothers that y'all done read about. Sucker rappers heard we was coming, they jetted out. And whether if you faded or peasy or dread it out. Get live, let it out. Come on and let it out.
I'm a cold little nigga when I flip at night like Stripe. Man mechanical like Dynamite. Rolling in a tank with Cinnabites. Step in the Cinnabons before I jump in the Tron. Soup low and beef growing, you're in a trance. I'm in the stance, B-boy. Yeah, the actual McCoy just dance. I rap with the side step till the sky's wet. I'm the one anomaly that hasn't been sniped
Yo,
yet.
brothers got an album deal off for the solo hype. Now we 21st century rap prototypes. Rappers mad at us because they don't do their promo right. And all they worry about is who they look in their photo like. But me and Liff is Luke Skywalker here solo like. Pimping indie rap like Magic Wand and Dolomite. Taking over shit like Bush took over your voter rights. That's why we all about that fucking check the promoter right.
Let face go, the shit'll rip off your face though. We're the ones with all the clout, the brothers would say so. So we say go away, you stay. Tell the rest of them rappers to go pray. Their prey, use left arm, drop bomb. Operation Crush, planet Earth, right palm. Brother, there's no tomorrow. We make time hollow, sorrow. Better take notes and just follow.
If you brought your attitude in the spot, then get it out. Ladies got your hair permed, you bout to sweat it out. Let's make it worth your dough before you head it out. Get live, let it out. Come on and let it out. Yo, it's them Boston brothers that y'all done read about. Sucker rappers heard we was coming, they jetted out. And whether if you faded or peasy or dread it out, get live, let it out. Come on and let it out. Yo. Acrobatic, Mr. Liff. Facts 1. Hot shit, yeah.
Then you cut out the fabric, and then you sew the fabric, and then you finish the garment. So it's not like just to draw some 4 lines on the sheet, you're making millions of dollars. And it's pure marketing, it's pure hype. He hasn't even said what material it's made from, and we're halfway through the fucking video. Welcome, the machine lies.
Greetings.
Welcome, thanks for being here. I wonder if you can translate this comment from Tony Taylor. I mean, it's in English, but it says logos, that is sub gods. So
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Tony Taylor's big time wise fellow. All right.
Indeed.
He's knowledgeable on tons of subjects. Right. And yeah, he's absolutely right. All right. Sometimes the logos theology serves as lesser God for the people. Right. They sell you one type of God up front, but really it's another type of God behind it.
Okay.
So it's fascinating because they'll sell you the God of the philosophers up front, but then they have the real God behind it. Right. So and they don't believe in the God of the philosophers. Right. So this is the type of trick I was trying to expose with those Jim Bob guys and all these kind of guys. Where the arguments they'll use will be for the God of the philosophers. So they'll sell people the lesser God up front.
That's the point of the title of your book. Now I get it.
Like it's a sleight of hand.
Right. Good job. Good job. Thank you. But the logo being spoken about here in the context, I thought of the logos as well, like what you explained. I didn't know it to that degree, but because it was just taught in like 101, the 101 classes as logic, as a Latin translation of logic. But he's talking about logos that brands put on their, like even that word brand, like to brand someone or but brands putting logos on their items. And he said that essentially you can't trademark a like you can't trademark a trench coat or a blue trench coat or a red trench coat, but the only thing that makes it trademarkable is the company's logo on it. And then that's when he put that logos, i.e., subcods. So does a logo from a marketing have any bearing in this at all, or is that just it just sounds the same, but it has nothing to do?
I mean, there's this whole thing about, food being sacrificed to idols. I mean, and if like the entire source of our labor comes from, what I mean, these icons that are basically, a lot of them, like a lot of the car companies, for example, got satanic, or pagan or whatever, and right, gods, and they also have like a lot of one eye imagery,
Advertising gods or deities or whatever, like gods.
Yeah, it's like the people who started it, like they're selling with with the symbolism, mhm, and like for example, Nike, goddess of victory, right?
Correct.
And so there's a lot of that going on, in terms of the way they program the symbols, and I mean, obviously, a man cannot serve two masters. Where are these symbols coming from? Who are they subservient to? You know what I mean? And like where is a lot of this stuff coming from? Like why specific names for these products and companies, right? That are all based on really weird, symbols that have really weird iconicity, right? Like let's just put it that way. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then on top of it, you know, I mean, you got to give to Caesar's what is Caesar's, and I think that is the thing about it is that in the temple, right, they would scratch off the coins, right, because they had the Roman faces on the coins, right,
Right.
and they said, they consider that idolatry, right? So, they would mint their own coins. You know what I mean? And that's when Jesus criticized them. He said, well, they're stealing money. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they're giving tribute to the Roman Empire, right? But they're pocketing some of the money themselves. So the temple is just a business, right? For the Roman Empire, right?
Got
You know what I
it.
mean?
Got it.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That's so they were engaged essentially in corruption under the guise of purity, because you're saying they wiped the face off of the the coin. So is that like they were washing the money? So
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah. Like, so to speak. And then the whole thing is so that's why Jesus got him with that. He said, give to Caesar what is Caesar's and give to God what is God's. He's clowning them. You know what I mean? It's such a powerful line because he's like, it goes to the heart of everything that they stand for. All right. He's exposing their whole, game. And he's saying, you guys are grifters. All
right.
right. But the whole thing is in terms of this whole thing, it's like, yeah, biggest business in the world is marketing. Right. And what is how did marketing become created? It's because the dude labeled the propaganda arm of the government, quote unquote, public relations.
Right. And
I
did it
mean,
have to do with like Freud's brother or someone?
his nephew. Yeah.
Nephew. Got it.
Yeah. And that guy's like, I think his nephew owns Netflix now.
Oh shit.
You know, Mark Bernays as the CEO of Netflix, right? So it's funny, right? And,
Huh.
right, and of course, the Netflix is how they promote a lot of these fashions.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And a lot of it's based on retro trends, you know, and that's because they've produced a lot of material from the 80s, right? So now because it's become digital, right? They have all these tapes of material from the 80s. So now they're recycling the culture, but they almost have no choice but to do it because now they have millions of tapes. You know, the internet's become flooded with all this tapes and material from the 80s because it's been uploaded to digital. So it's like a cultural reversion.
Right, but with the shit quality, because in the 80s you could still find a good pair of jeans probably, you know, at the store. But the quality you're buying now is not built to last, and it doesn't fit as well
Yeah.
because to make more sizes takes more money. And
Yeah, and that's the fact is that technology has a remedial effect on culture, not an accelerating effect. You know, because the old culture comes back because we get to see it now. So
right, but then it's commodified and cheapened immediately because even some of the old gold in my family, they're so eager, like the ladies in the family are so eager to just melt it down and have it in a new style. So that's the gold that came from the great great grandparents generation, right? And they don't want to, I don't know what it is. It's just a thing, I guess, in India and middle class now is to have that shiny new gold. You know, Indians as it is wear a lot of gold anyway, but to show like, oh, I'm on the latest style, you know, so giving this old quality, that quality is not coming back. And you're not personally in the smelting room to know if, you know, like they're giving you your same gold or not even. So yeah, it's such bullshit. And my main anger about this, on my screen I finished my top, by the way. I started making this shirt when I started the video, just as a rebellion, you know, like to this kind of industry or whatever. And yeah, I finished that top, and yeah, it took me 3.5 hours. I'm not as skilled as some of these ladies I've seen, you know, in seamstresses. I can sew like maybe 5 of those in 3 hours, you know, that I did. But those are the OGs, like those are the peoples that those are the people that made you clothes that fit at an affordable price. And I even remember my mom would go out and pick the fabric to make sure it was 100% cotton and I didn't get any rashes on my skin when I was a kid. And it was it was cheaper than buying the garments at the store because they didn't have to pay air conditioning or high rent like in the shopping malls and things like that. And they were always full. They always had work. And even people that had little boutiques. So then they were like these young girls, maybe 15 years older than me, that had started little boutiques of clothing. And so they would contract the seamstress, they would pass the design. Of course, they were looking at the runway. I mean, these are all modern girls, you know. I'm calling them girls, but they were like 15 years older than me. They were really young, like in their early 20s or 30s. And they were starting these boutiques and looking at the runway, and then they would pass on the design to the seamstress, and the seamstress would be able to create it. And it's all within a 5 mile radius. So yeah, everything except the fabric pretty much, and the manufacturing of the fabric and the manufacturing of the thread is done in house. So yeah, I mean that's my big qualm, is that we know how to do this. In India, it used to be called home sciences. I think in America, it's called home economics. But they would teach that to young girls, and even if you didn't learn it in school, your mom taught you. So you just kind of knew these things like sewing, knitting, crochet, how to darn, how to fix a tear. You know, this is commonplace, and most people were making their clothes for events and things like that. It wasn't just going and buying something. Even wedding dresses, are recycled or passed down, and then you can just have it altered or fixed. And I even remember the clothes my mom had me made when I was little. They lasted me from age 5 to anywhere between age 5 and 15, because she would have them sew in like an extra cloth into the garment, so that as I grew, they could just take out we could just take out one stitch, and the garment would grow to fit me, and I wouldn't have to essentially buy a new clothing. So these kinds of things disappearing is my biggest problem with this, because I thrive. I really like working creatively with fabrics and stuff like that. But yeah, that was the point I was trying to make.
Yeah, I mean, I've had the same clothes for years and years. You know, I get a little hole in it, I just patch it up. You know, I get my wife to sew it back up. You know, alter it or change it or whatever. But yeah, I just continually reuse the same clothes. And right, you know, I don't think I've bought clothes for a very long time. You know, and most of my clothes are just gifts I got from people. You know, extremely nice clothes that you
Mhm.
know that last a long time. And yeah, you know, you can buy extremely fine made things that last a long time, as opposed to you know cheap stuff that's gonna fall apart that's made in a factory, all right? And that's the fact is that mass production, you know what I mean? It leads to loss in quality, loss in skill, you know,
Right. And
because
now
the
it's
yeah,
just it's machines cutting up. So 90s is when a lot of the Chinese factories, they just got machines to do like the cutting work, the
yeah,
printing work, and some of the seams.
yeah,
So
they did an experiment on people, right, where they took them into a room and they had them analyze pairs of jeans for their quality,
oh,
right? And these people got divided into groups and they analyzed all the different quality of these genes, right, that they were given to assigned, right? So then later after they constructed all of these qualities and they ranked these genes and all this type of stuff and they analyzed the the stitching and all that type of stuff and they pointed out all the differences, they were told that they were looking at the exact same pair of jeans.
oh my god.
you know
Oh dear.
and yeah, you could train people to find differences and shit that's pretty much the same and it's exactly made the same, right? But yeah, it's
But
fascinating.
but if you actually like, once I took them off from my channel because my face was in them, but I learned to weave last year. And it was from wool, because cotton weaving, I just couldn't, like, I couldn't handle it before I knew how to weave and spin, because cotton is the finest, no, silk is the finest, then cotton, and then wool in terms of difficulty. And once you start to feel like the wool when you shear it off of the sheep, and then when it's washed, and then you remove the dirt or whatever and spin it, then I started to identify wool that they were saying it was wool, but it wasn't really wool, it was synthetic, because of the spin of the fiber and the integrity and the feel of the fiber. So I do think that in the same regard, as you work with real fabrics, you start to be able to discern what real fabric is and what petroleum fiber essentially looks like, which is in everything. So this is a luxury brand item that he's looking at. He hasn't even given the material so far, and it's halfway into the video. I hope it's leather, but I don't think it's genuine leather. Um, it may or may not be. But my point is that it costs 7 or 8 grand, or I don't know, $500, $600 for that little purse, and it's still going to fall apart on you. It's not good quality. It's marketed as good quality, natural materials, skilled artisans making it, but it's just cheap shit made by paying people like $2 a day in a sweatshop, you know. So it's hard to discern what good things are. Uh, but if you have a good thing, I would recommend doing what Machine is doing and what I'm doing. So this is a shirt that got torn up, that, you know, a couple shirts were torn up. So I just like kind of used what I could from both of them, and I made a new shirt. But yeah, essentially reuse what you have as many times as you can, because the newer stuff is just not cutting it, in my opinion. The older your stuff is, the more durable the fabric is, the less petroleum based product is in there, so on and so forth. I'm quiet now.
$299, but the original retail was $675, so pretty swanky. Okay, so yeah, we have a lot of interesting things there, and obviously we can't draw any concrete conclusions from that. This is anecdotal and just fun because this is a YouTube video. Now, Valentino Garavani has always been known for...
I'm gonna stop playing this motherfucker. So he didn't say what the material was. That's why I played this video so long, because I thought he would say what material it was. He's like, oh, well, it's just a, you know, we're just playing with it. It's just the YouTube video. Fuck you, motherfucker. Damn it. I wanted to know what material that bag that was made for $600 or sold for $600 was made of, but they wouldn't say. And he said he's only not even willing to speculate. So I'm just gonna move on to the next video. Not no, welcome. Not no. Thank you for being here. And I agree. I agree completely with what you just said. And it's so evil. It's so evil, you know, since it's so vain, and it's kind of like more about women. It's ignored. The normalization of shoes addiction, bag addiction, makeup addiction, beauty addiction out of insecurity, clothing, you know, addiction to clothing. All of that is normalized among women, and it's glorified for working women. So, you know, it's and then the influencer girlies, they just play on this, you know, to the max. Like they even get plastic surgery so that certain clothes will look good on them, and then, you know, you'll buy it and stuff like that. So
Well, they're getting paid to wear this stuff.
that's true.
You know, they got to be getting paid to wear this stuff. You know, but you know, and it's not like really like you know, because they could send these people donations. I mean, right? So you know, you're able to send these people private donations at this point. You know, through their, like, you know, OnlyFans or their Cash App or their Instagram or whatever. You know, so they put on certain outfits, and they'll even say like, "Oh, I'm wearing this outfit made by so and so."
Right.
You know what I mean? The influencer girls, all right? So yeah, you know what I mean? So it definitely seen it happen.
Right, like that person that has a name on it probably just drew 4 lines on a paper and passed it to the sweatshop.
Yeah, and I'm just speculating, like, you know, because real talk, like, I don't even have Instagram. I don't even look at these whores, right? But the
I don't
thing
have
is,
Instagram either.
yeah, but the
I only
fact
got
is,
YouTube, but there's a
yeah,
lot of people on YouTube that do content on those people, so that's how I find out.
yeah, well, you know, there's people who quote unquote debate, have debates with them. So, yeah, I don't know what that is. But,
Yeah, right. You know, yeah, I get it. It's all fake and gay, in my opinion. Because even the commentators, they won't go deep. You know, they'll just see. Even this one doesn't go deep, and they always have a bias that they reveal. Like this one is going to push for more regulation and more surveillance. It's a little bit of a shift in topic, but not really, because it comes under the same sphere. Because now kid influencers are used to market fashion and products, non-essential products, and to essentially encourage you to binge buy this stuff. And new moms, like content for new moms, is just crazy.
A global audience of millions is online on social media. Be it on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Snap.
C'est un petit garçon, ma vie. C'est un petit garçon. Oh maman, je suis trop heureuse.
The phenomenon is called sharenting. This combination of sharing and parenting refers to parents who post and blog about their children's entire lives on social media. Some parents even become influencers so they can monetize everyday family life. But posting images of children online is not without risk, and oversharing can have serious consequences for their future lives.
If you are just innocently, or if you think that you are just innocently sharing your child's life online, I'm here to tell you that you are wrong. I don't use my legal name on social media just because I am terrified that people are just going to Google my name one day. Maybe a future employer would look my name up and they would just see everything that my mom had posted on social media. Being posted online definitely caused a lot of mental damage. I have very bad anxiety and very bad paranoia, especially when I'm out in public. I constantly think that people are following me. It started when I was a child and then just stuck with me all the way up till now. I'm the voice of the children. We need to take action now so these kids can use their voices. It's just detrimental to the mental health.
By the time children are teenagers, often parents and relatives will have uploaded hundreds of photos and videos of their childhood years. In this film, we've covered the children's faces to protect their privacy.
Hear more.
This smoker voice motherfucker is a real evil. If it is even any of these stories are real. I'm not doubting that kids on social media isn't a problem, but this monetization of kids on social media, whatever, isn't a problem. But if the stories are not staged and if they're real, this one is a real mean motherfucker. She plays the evil role really well. If it is a she, and at least with this individual, it's really, really obvious that they've had cosmetic surgery. So there's filler in the cheeks, there's filler in the lips, and there's probably some surgery around the eye, like a facelift type. And that's why the hair is pulled down to kind of remove, to not show the scarring from the surgery. But there are certain shots where the hair is up. So this is the uniform. I mean, like the most common shot that they've used throughout the documentary is this person seated like that in the couch with their legs crossed and speaking. Yeah, exactly. Really vain individual. Yep. So, yeah, this is a standard shot that they use throughout the documentary, but there's shots with the hair up. And you can see, if you look around the eyes, you'll see it's not, there's some stretching, there's some distortion, not that it looks ugly, it just is remnant of plastic surgery, which I don't think looks great anyway. I don't find that attractive. I immediately mistrust the person. I think, what are they hiding?
Because she explained how her children don't necessarily know when they're being filmed or not. Right?
How Twilight Zone is that? And she still doesn't think she's wrong.
Yeah, because that seems like a surreal experience, and I think that might be part of this surreality of playing a character online versus being in your own space. So
I
And
think
never
that
really feeling safe. Like you might constantly feel observed. Like when can
yeah,
you?
they might have a different notion of the public and private sphere, right?
Right.
And that might be very different, and I think that's what that earlier lady was trying to explain, where she was like, she constantly feels like she's being watched. So
Right.
yeah, I think it could possibly damage you on that level, because I know, yeah, because I know, like sometimes I've had the TV on, right, and somebody will say, "Hey, TML," and I'll think like I'm on a show. And I'll be like, wait, am I like in StreamYards right now? Or like I'll hear somebody mention me on one of these, panels or whatever,
Right.
right, which happens often, right? But it'll be like, you know, um, it'll be surreal, or I'll be watching a recording of myself and I'll think of responding because I'll think like I'm in StreamYards, right? So that is a sort of a strange, surreal feeling. And I think it's almost a schizo feeling,
Mm-hmm.
right? That schizophrenics have when they think the TV's talking to them, right?
Right.
You just had it for a brief moment, right?
Right. And then it's the mind doesn't really know, it doesn't differentiate if the experiences happen in the past, the present, or the future.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So it's right now,
So
essentially.
there's
That experience again.
Yeah. So there's like, a non-spatiality and an atemporality to the experience, or this further schizophrenic.
And then there's something immortalized about it. So this thing was discussed, especially with Hub, that the videos, there's a lot of videos of minors on there. And the fact that it's there, like, and say you're a survivor or something, you're trying to look online and have it deleted. Each time you find a video, you relive the whatever is happening in the video. And it's usually like an assault or something like that. So if that is true, then certainly, like when you relive an experience like that, I don't think the mind differentiates that it happened in the past and it's not happening right now. Yeah. Yeah, and that those children, the green t-shirt lady's children, they're being trained to be camera ready at any time from a young age. So even though they don't get it, that's going to be internalized and become a default. And they're going to be performing by default, no matter what the time or place. And this girl actually, I think in the year 2000 or 2004 to 2009, 10, her mom ended up putting photos of her in a bikini. Like she was underage, obviously, she was a child. And the mom put everything on Facebook, including like her first period and stuff like that. So, yeah, that she has a different perspective about influencer parents.
Friends, listening.
Bah oui.
En sortant de chez le coiffeur et en rentrant à la maison, j'ai pas eu envie de prendre la caméra pour vous dire voilà ma nouvelle couleur, nanana, parce qu'on a eu une très 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 mauvaise surprise qui nous a quittés. La tristesse, c'est quelque chose qui s'en va avec le temps. D'accord? On garde que les.
If anyone here speaks French from France in the audience, that it's just like the accent is so pretentious on this woman, and a lot of them, they talk like the Valley Girl version of French or some shit. Gosh, they can't even speak regular. For God's sake.
M'en souvenir. Ok? J'ai pas eu envie de prendre la caméra pour vous dire voilà ma nouvelle couleur, nanana, parce qu'on a eu une très 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 mauvaise surprise qui nous a quittés. La tristesse, c'est quelque chose qui s'en va avec le temps. D'accord?
And she's just repeating it. She's reading off of a script. and she's like repeating it. It's
Yeah,
like,
and you know, it'll always be some sort of angle behind it. Like it'll be like some sort of multicultural angle. Like
right,
I've seen a lot of these channels where like a white lady will marry like a Muslim guy or some
right,
stupid shit like that. Like have you like you know what I'm saying, right? And then they'll start a family or you know, so the agenda will be pushing some sort of multiculturalism through this sort of virtue signaling, using the family to virtue signal the lifestyle that they're promoting. I mean, so you know they want people to be online. They want people to share their personal information.
mm-hmm.
So these people are a Trojan horse, saying like, oh yeah, if you do that and you do it successfully and you show your you know successes in that, you know you'll be rewarded by the general public. All right, look at these people. All right, so
Mm-hmm.
so they're selling a lifestyle. You know what I mean? And
Right.
that's why these certain groups are selected. I mean, there's certain types of because they're trying to show like, oh well, you could just become a reality TV star, but it's not
And you
everybody.
could, I mean, think about for a stay-at-home mom, it's very attractive to that kind of like primal part of your mind where, you know, a lot of women, it's like, oh, well, I'm going to get fat, I'm going to get pregnant, I'm going to, you know, kind of lose my value in this, you know, whatever society where you have to kind of work it or, you know, this money, fame, glamour type society. And it's an adrenaline rush to receive that much attention for a female at the time in her life where we've been told, I'm not saying this is a norm, like, or this is coming inherently from women because they're women. It's because it's pushed on you through media that when you become pregnant, you become ugly or you lose your value or, you know, your man's going to cheat on you or whatever. You become dependent, you're vulnerable. So that's like a weak state for a female to be in. And you put in this, and it's like, oh my God, all I have to do is do my daily chores and film it, and I can make money. And I know a couple of rich people that have been pulled into this. So they like their husbands worked it out so they could be a stay-at-home mom. Like that's how they had worked out their family scenario. But now a couple of stay-at-home moms are doing these family blogging channels that I know personally. And that's a result of what you're saying. They see these people modeling this behavior online. And then for whatever reason, it's innocuous, right? So what she told me is like, oh, you know, I just want to share. I just want to share my family's life online. Yeah, and like maybe make a passive income through it, which you don't need. I mean, like you guys are already making well into you know, I don't want to say how many figures, but you guys are making enough. Like you do not need um to like make money off of brand deals and be an influencer. So it's really for the attention and all of the little things, right? It's like playing dress up for females. It's like playing with a dollhouse. Like you get to do that activity and you get a release of dopamine in your head and um people give you compliments and attention. So yeah, so I seen a couple of rich ladies that are doing it. So and they have no need to, you know, they could be stay-at-home moms. Their kids do not need to appear on these platforms, but they do. And that's how the cookie crumbles. So it is working. It is working 100% TML.
On garde que les bons souvenirs. Ok. Donc on vous envoie plein de gros bisous. Et on vous dit à très bientôt.
Ciao. Hey Neuro, welcome.
Yeah, and that's
Hello.
also the thing. They have apps and shit that they sell that these parents are using to collect like